Still sending data, still waiting on YouTube. Come on, YouTube. Come a little baby YouTube. There it is. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, we're starting the show in 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ring Post Radio, the only show that celebrates the legacy of one Vince McMahon by going to Disney World and riding on teacups. I'm your host, Ryan Neitzey, and with me, as always, is Scotty Evers. Scotty, what'd you think of that intro? I think that's my top 10 intro right there.
I don't know about top 10. You've had some good intros, and you've had some bad ones, so this might be your bad one.
I resent that remark.
It's okay.
And I respect
it's okay,
that
though, because we're here, finally. You know, shout out The Rock, who won't be at WrestleMania this year. Next year, sorry. We have a lot to talk about, and originally, on Friday, when the news broke, I just sat there, it's like, Ryan, god damn it, you had to go on vacation.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
you're lucky because Monday gave us more news, and I was like, damn. All right, we're okay. It's like he knew that was going to happen. He had no clue that was going to happen, obviously, but
or did I? I'm the inside man. I'm the leaker.
If you did, then I have questions. I have many questions. Why are you not telling me these things ahead of time?
I leak all the news to Wall Street Journal. I'm the guy writing the HBO Sports article. This alleged HBO Sports article. Yeah, no.
Hit out on Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Yeah,
and most people would agree that you were doing the right thing.
Yeah,
Junior, by the way.
Yes, Junior, Vince McMahon Jr. Yeah, no. In a weird way, I like sitting in the airport Friday at TGI Fridays, reading that Vince McMahon's gone was very strange because it was like, oh my god, I need Wi-Fi, I need something immediately, I have to read all of it because it's the biggest news story of all time of wrestling probably.
Yeah, just a little bit,
or at least the top 5 maybe.
It's hard to not be top 1.
That's true. But then, like, I settle into the idea of like, well, we're not recording Sunday. That stinks. But maybe more news will come out from it. Because on that Friday there was a lot of questions still, and then luckily by the time Monday, like, we could have been the show on Sunday being like, hey, this is the thing. What about this? Is this the question? Is this the all this other stuff? And then on Monday we got pretty much all the answers. So I feel like it was weirdly a good move for me to go on vacation, enjoy myself, and have a good time in Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom and seeing all the animals and whatnot. But yeah, and then on Monday we got all that extra bonus news that just made our jobs, I think, easier to dissect and talk about.
Made my future job of covering WWE on this podcast better.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. I was talking to Jesse at the airport. It was just saying that, like, she was kind of like, how big of a story is this? I was like, it's so big that I'm considering watching WWE television again. That's how big of a story this is. Like, on a personal scale, it is, and I'm fascinated to see what the ratings of Monday Night Raw were yesterday. Just to see how many people are back into, like, the good faith tour is starting, man, and it is fascinating to watch. And post SummerSlam is going to be crazy, probably, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like some people are being pessimistic about it, but I feel like I'm a little optimistic, and it's going to be a better change. It may not be.
We can't get to that part yet. We can't get to that part.
That's true. That's true.
We gotta attack the man first.
I guess that's fair. Maybe not fair, but we're going to.
No, that's fair.
Yeah. So, obviously, lots of stuff to talk about. This upcoming weekend itself, you and I knew, Scotty, that this weekend itself was gonna be wild and crazy.
before we get to this, here is all that's happening this coming weekend from in terms of just major shows that anyone might care about.
Yeah.
So we got night 1 and night 2 of the 5-star Grand Prix. That's big enough.
Starting on Saturday.
TJPW has their Princess Cup. Not that we cover that, but that's still big enough.
Mm-hmm.
SummerSlam,
mm-hmm.
second biggest show of the year for WWE. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Mm-hmm.
New Japan Music City Mayhem, G1 Night 8, G1 Night 9.
Yeah.
People vs. GCW is actually a show like
that's
worth watching.
I believe that's a Moxley defense, so that's a worth watching GCW show.
We don't cover this, but I was considering it until I saw the weekend that it was. Dragon Gate has their 2 biggest shows of the year in Kobe World Day 1 and Day 2, so that's like their Wrestle Kingdom. And then Ric Flair's wrestling
and retiring
on a card that's like insanely good.
Yeah.
So we're a little busy.
Yeah.
We're a little busy. Oh, and by the way, this past weekend, Ring of Honor happened, and the former Ring of Honor World Champion quit.
I totally forgot about that.
That's like, terms of like, if we had a docket for stories that are most important, no offense to Jonathan Gresham, he's like 5 or 6 at this point.
Yeah,
we have so much to go over, and we got to start with the tweet that was heard around the world, and everyone looked at it and said, is this actually real? Because I know that's exactly what I said the moment I saw it.
Yeah, I know when it got posted in the Discord, I think Lauren was like, is this a real account? Is this a fake account? What is this? Lots of stuff to talk about, but let's just get to it. On Friday, July 22nd at 4:05 p.m., a tweet heard around the world, the WWE universe, was from Vince McMahon at 77. Time for me to, I don't know why he's Southern. Time for me to retire. Thank you, WWE Universe. Then, now, forever together. Hashtag WWE. Hashtag thankful. It was confirmed that, well, I was going to say it was confirmed that that Vince McMahon is officially retired from WWE. It seems to be that it was more of a resignation than retirement, which is, slightly different.
Yeah, but you gotta let him save face.
Yeah, it's wrestling, so you're saving face all over the place.
His face is about to be smashed into 1 million pieces for the next month. So
that is 100% true. So Vince McMahon is officially, as I'm going to say it here, gone from WWE. He is no longer. Who would have thought that this is how it goes out? Maybe some people are hoping for it.
Yeah, no, it's not shocking, I guess.
Yeah,
but like we've all accepted. I think everyone accepted that Vince McMahon wasn't leaving WWE until he died.
Yeah,
and now we have gone from that thought maybe 2 months ago to he's gone. Zip, see ya, out of the chair, the chair.
Chairman role
spot. Yeah.
Yep.
No longer CEO. No longer head of creative. Gone. All he has is the shareholders' vote. Yes. That is it.
He is still the majority shareholder by quite the margin.
And that can't control most of the product. So that can pretty much control if they get sold or not. So that's pretty big.
Yeah, so no longer CEO, no longer chairperson. The new CEO, and we'll talk about this after we talk about Vince McMahon as a whole. New CEO, co-CEOs are Stephanie McMahon, Vince's daughter, and Nick Khan, the Mortal Kombat guy rising up the ladder. New head of talent relations taking over Johnny Laurinaitis' position is Triple H. And
back in his position,
and he is also taking over creative over Vince McMahon. So as I basically would put it, seeing that he is also still the majority shareholder, still has the majority of the voting power and all this stuff. Like I said, by quite a margin, it's like, I don't know, 40 points higher than the next highest person. It's not 80%. I don't think it's 80%. I want to say it's like 60 or something. But it's
majority.
Yeah, it's the majority. It's like 60, but 40% is split by like
if he
hundreds of
votes,
people.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Basically, he, and this is how I explained it to Jesse. Basically, he is no longer the guy making the final decisions, but he is still the biggest voice in the room, right? You know, he's if they're deciding to vote, he's gonna be the person that basically decides whether or not they get sold
Oh,
or whatever.
he's no longer on the board either, which is obviously important.
He's no longer on the board either. I didn't see that part.
Yeah, Meltzer said that. Meltzer just dropped that news yesterday, like within the first like 5 minutes of his post wrestling appearance. He's like, "Oh yeah, he's not on the board either." And John Pollock was like,
What? Well, okay, so I didn't know that.
he's like, "Oh, okay, that makes." Well, he was like, that connects the dots of why like he's no longer on the board on the website either. So yeah, he's out of that. He's just a majority shareholder. That is it.
Does he still have voting power in that sense?
And the shareholder, yeah, like so if they were to sell the company, he has a lot of say. But
Okay.
that's
So
like
okay. So basically what I said before,
he
but
can't do anything that has to do with like the company making business deals or anything unless it's getting sold, pretty much.
okay.
Like the board and company can control what they want to do. It's just like when shareholders need to come into play, that's obviously what he does. But that's usually big picture stuff.
Okay. So like basically when
Have you watched Succession?
No, I have not.
You should.
I should at this point.
You'll watch and you'll be like, "Oh my god, I just watched this on unfold in real life."
It is in yeah. No, yeah, okay. So he basically has he doesn't make any calls except when it's like I have to vote for something as a shareholder. Which is still a lot of power. I mean, he still has the majority of the power in that situation. His vote is basically the one that's going to decide it all. Because I think his voting
Yeah.
power is, like I said, I think it's 60-40 or something like that. No matter what, it is more than everyone else. So
Yes.
it's basically his decision what ultimately happens with the company, I guess. Which I wouldn't be surprised if it gets sold. That topic we'll talk about, I guess. But Vince McMahon himself, gone from the company, gone from WWE, gone from the company that he
Hallelujah.
raised up, gone in a fashion that is real bad. I mean, stories like of what's causing all this stuff now. We talked about this when the stories came up. The original Wall Street Journal article came up. You know, this stuff happened decades ago, and it was just swept under the rug and all that jazz. Nowadays, this is the kind of stuff that's going to cause people to crumble, to lose their jobs and stuff. And that's kind of what's happened here. I mean, didn't really get pushed out, but maybe kind of got pushed out and then said, "Hey, I'll save some face." I mean, I guess he is the majority shareholder, so you kind of have to have him save face for the company. But yes, Vince McMahon's gone. What are your immediate reactions, Scotty, to I guess Vince McMahon no longer being in wrestling?
It's about fucking time. That was my immediate reaction. The moment it happened, I just sat there. Well, okay, that was a lie. The moment it happened, I sat there just staring at my phone in confusion and shock and awe because as we've talked about on this very show for months now, is that you never really knew if he was going to be gone or not because this is Vince McMahon. He has been through pretty much everything you can imagine, and he somehow has always stayed and fought through. He fought through the steroid trial. But by the way, he had to retire on the day of the day that he won that, so that was fantastic on the anniversary. I'm sure there's been allegations against him countless times that I can't remember off the top of my head. None as strict as these ones though. And so my initial thoughts when I, got myself together and realized that it was real were that this is the best thing that can happen to WWE as a product, as a professional wrestling company, and clearly as a business, as their stock soars through the moon, is that Vince McMahon being gone is ready for this one. I've been working on the best for business. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. You've been
line against him.
You've been holding on to that all weekend.
No, I just thought of it actually.
Even better. Yeah, no. In a weird way, it was. I mean,
No, it's not weird at all. It's not weird at all. He's been out of touch for over a decade.
No, I mean in terms of the stock price. It's a weird way that how much the stock price has risen because of it. I have seen people talking about like part of the reason the stock price and like people are adjusting their stock value or whatever in WWE is because some people are like this is more of an indication that they might be selling. Which, you know, I get that part. Yeah, no.
ASAP Rocky.
Vince gone is fascinating. No, none of us, I think, suspected that this would be the downfall of Vince. I mean, all sorts of like
there would be one.
Yeah, everyone's just sort of been like he's a shark. He'll just croak one day and then that will be it. You know, it's not going to be that. You know,
I don't agree. I never thought he was going to die.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, no, but the idea of Vince McMahon being gone, it's just, seeing the reactions as well are fascinating because on one hand you get the, oh, thank you Vince for being the greatest sports entertaining promoter in the world. You know, you get that WWE fan reaction, and then you get the other fan reaction of just this guy destroyed the territories, took away what the kind of wrestling I loved, replaced it with something I don't like that he doesn't even care about. And it's just, which both are true, I guess, in whatever perspective you look at it. Vince definitely built up the biggest tower of professional wrestling in not just America, but worldwide, globally, the biggest tower of professional wrestling. However, that tower of professional wrestling was built on sand. It was built on lies. It was built on corruption, built on screwing over other people constantly. It is professional wrestling, but how much of that term of it is professional wrestling comes from things that even he was a part of and he did. He was all culpable and that sort of stuff. So eventually, I guess is what I'm saying is that tower of sand was going to crumble. Friday and maybe the past couple weeks have been the tower crumbling. I don't know. I have not been the biggest fan of Vince McMahon. I can maybe respect the idea that, he is a good businessman. He did the right things for his business, but he did things that were not good to do that. And also, but then it's like, cause then, I'm trying to look at the things as a businessman. He did good business, I guess, for his company by destroying everything else. Yeah, he did great business for his own thing, made a multi-million-dollar company out of wrestling, which no one would have guessed maybe in the 40s that would ever become a multi-million-dollar company, multi-billion-dollar company. As a performer, Vince in the 80s and 90s, one of
the greatest heels of all time.
Exactly. As a performer, a great performer. I think like even Kenny Omega has been on record saying that he's one of his favorite wrestlers is Vince McMahon. He has great mannerisms. He knows what he's doing out there. When it comes to wrestling, but then you get all the additional things of morally as a man. This guy is corrupt. This guy has many sexual abuse allegations, sexual abuse proof. Just a horrible person. Just straight up horrible person. Stories we would hear constantly. I don't care if Vince was a father figure. Father figures can still be bad people. It's not good, it's not, he's not a good person, God, I was gonna say something that I shouldn't say, but it's just, I was gonna say that like I'm not gonna say that. No, you go ahead with what you were gonna say.
All right, he is the greatest wrestling promoter of all time. It's not a question. It's not a debate.
Mm-hmm.
It's the truth. He took WWE from his father and turned it into a international phenomenon, right?
Yeah.
He did a lot of good things for wrestling. But he was nowhere close to perfect, just as it on the wrestling sense. He lost his touch long ago.
Yep.
He is the reason WWE has fallen so low in terms of quality, in terms of viewership. People say, oh, there's no stars like Austin and Rock. Maybe it's because, one, those two are literally once in a lifetime stars. Like, that comparison's ridiculous. But he did make a John Cena. And when I say he made a John Cena, he gave John Cena a chance that John Cena took it. But his problem has always been he goes back to his old ways that worked in the 80s and 90s. Those don't work anymore. The ways that we've seen is that people want to see more of an in-ring product. They want to see more guys on top. That is the whole thing. The women's revolution, that wasn't his idea. That wasn't at all his idea. We're not giving him credit for that. I'm also not giving Stephanie McMahon credit for that. I'm giving the women who were the wrestlers credit for that. I'm giving the 4 horsewomen. I'm giving literally everyone that went in there, especially when they were treated with the most disrespect, having 2-minute matches and then taken off the show for the rest of the night, especially on 3-hour Raws. Like, those are things that you have to bring into this conversation too, and especially because of why he's gone now. And Vince McMahon is one of the main reasons I am sitting here as a wrestling fan. WWE is the reason I've ever watched wrestling. And I'm sure a lot of people listening, you're the same exact way. Not everyone. I'm sure it's not everyone. But a lot of people are the same exact way. Without WWE, I'm not sitting here doing this podcast.
Yeah.
That's just the truth. Without, all those wrestlers and all those stories and all those matches that they put together, I'm not here. So I recognize that. But for the Gerald Briscoes and for the, all the other people that want to be on Vince's good side till the day he dies, I am perfectly fine with no more Vince McMahon. I will be so perfectly okay when he's not around anymore. And here's why. He hasn't needed to be around for over a decade now.
Yeah.
It's just the truth. There's a reason that you and me come on this podcast, and anytime we see a WWE pay-per-view on the docket, we say, great, here we go.
Yeah.
And
same old.
And now I'm sitting here and I'm looking at SummerSlam, and this is probably just the optimistic part of me, but I'm looking at SummerSlam. I'm like, you know what? It looks better. And it's hilarious to say because it's Vince McMahon's fucking card that's on the damn, it's his card still. It's not like the new creative head has come in and just completely changed it.
Yeah.
But it's the idea that after that show, there can be and will be change as a whole. So back to Vince McMahon. He accomplished a lot. He's the greatest promoter of all time. I don't even think that can be up for discussion because of what he's done.
Sure.
But what also can be discussed is that he's a very, very bad human being who deserves everything that has come to him.
Totally agree. Totally agree. It's fascinating that it's come to this. I was talking to Jesse about Vince McMahon and about his legacy, I guess we'll call it at this point. And it is just fascinating to look at. And it's just, you're right. You're completely right that he is one of the reasons why I'm a wrestling fan. He does these things. I was the first thing wrestling I watched was WWE. I think most American people would say that, if not most worldwide worldwide people would say that. But it's just like the things that he has done booking wise. How many things do we give him credit for? No one gives him credit for like Steve Austin originally. No one gives him credit for Daniel Bryan originally. No one gives him credit for Becky Lynch originally. No one gives him credit for the women's revolution originally.
I give him credit for like Undertaker.
I'll give him credit for Undertaker. Sure.
It's the greatest gimmick he ever created.
Yeah. Hulk Hogan, I guess. Yeah.
And Hulk Hogan in a degree. Obviously, Hulk Hogan was popular before.
Kind of stole Hulk Hogan.
But he made it worldwide.
Yeah.
But he did a lot.
He did a lot of stuff, but it's to that other point you made about how he is also the reason why it's gotten bad. As many good things you could say about it, there are hundreds, thousands of bad things we could say about WWE. You know, the women's revolution exists because of his previous booking of women in the promotion. The whole conversation about African American wrestlers in WWE for decades. Just in the past couple of years, a lot of like booking the 24/7 title picture, a lot of the other stuff that's been happening is all coming from the old mind of Vince McMahon. And to another extent as well as his cronies, you know, Bruce Pritchard, Kevin Dunn, yada yada yada. But he is part of the reason why, he is the main reason why WWE's ratings and everything has fallen. And we've talked about it in the past. I've been talking about it forever. Is that bout of ego that he has so much more power over him than the sheer, I would say, thousands, millions of dollars that he is leaving on the table for the past decade. His booking has not been good. The stuff he's been doing was good. NXT was the hottest it was. They should have moved up at Triple H and made him a creative at that time, because that was good. That was good booking, and WWE's booking continued to get worse and worse and worse, to the point where it is sort of now. And it's just kind of boring. Nothing happens, and things that do happen are bad. There was so much money left on the table, but Vince's ego could not overcome that. His ego was, I need to be in control of this product. This is my thing, and I want to do this. And all that money left on the table. This AEW should not exist, but it does exist because Tony Khan recognized money on the table that Vince McMahon was not picking up. If Vince and Triple H and WWE as a whole decided we'll change it up 10 years ago, I'm sure that AEW wouldn't have existed at this point, because WWE would be a really good, or at least better product, probably. I'm not saying that Triple H is going to fix everything as the new creative, or Stephanie will fix everything as the new co-CEO, but it is the sheer amount of money on the table, and
it's already better off.
I mean, that's partly true as well.
That's the best way to say it, though. It's like, Will Stephanie McMahon walk in and make this company like must watch? No. But will it be better by default? Yeah. Yeah, it will. You know why? Because it couldn't get worse.
Exactly.
They reached the bottom.
Yes. The bottom of the barrel has been reached several times over. And that's the other thing I talked about. It's a goodwill tour at this point. Vince, there's some pessimistic people out here that say that Vince is just going to find his way back into controlling the company, which I'm sure is possible. I also don't think it's possible.
I can name 14.7 million reasons why he will not be getting back in that company.
And climbing. I was gonna name one co-CEO that probably won't let that happen. One power-hungry co-CEO that probably won't let that happen.
We're talking about Stephanie.
Oh yeah, she's so power-hungry. No. The idea that this is it. I think this is it for Vince McMahon. I cannot see him back in the company. I think part of the reason that he's still majority shareholder is, one, resignation, retirement money. He can still sell off shares and all that stuff later. Sell off 1,000 shares to make however much money. So he needs money for the rest of his life, however much longer that will be. I don't blame him for still having that. The other reason is probably because, hey, look, we've built up in the marketplace that one of the ways, the only ways that WWE can ever get sold is that Vince has to be a part of the decision.
Yeah.
He's still part of the decision. If it gets sold, it gets sold. And also, if it gets sold, he'll be walking out with but I don't see that he would be the majority shareholder at that point. But he would be walking away with billions of dollars. He might be, this whole thing happens and he might walk away. WWE might get sold and he'll make billions of dollars. And that's insane.
You know, you were talking about AEW, and I want to like give a for instance of like why certain things have happened. The reason Jon Moxley is the AEW interim world champion is because of Vince McMahon. Because Jon Moxley didn't want to work for that man anymore.
Yeah.
The reason that the Ring of Honor world champion is Claudio Castagnoli is because Cesaro back then got fed up and moved on. I could name a lot more people. There's a reason so many of these things have happened.
The other AEW world champion, CM Punk, is
well, that's Triple H too, to be fair.
Triple H as well. But
they're not best friends.
Yeah, no. I don't see them coming out and doing the Okada hug.
But it's mostly Vince McMahon.
Yeah. This idea that there's money left on the table and all this stuff, it's fascinating. It is a multi-million-dollar company that should have been a billion-dollar company years ago. And it's the part of the reason is as soon as they became corporate, as soon as they were listening to that stuff, they were no longer listening to fans. Brandon Thurston has like that hierarchy of needs for WWE. Fans are the bottom. It is corporations, it is brand partners, all that stuff they listen to more. As soon as that started happening, Vince McMahon and all of his writers started writing for Vince. Vince started writing for brand sponsorships, partners, corporations, shareholders, all that jazz. They stopped writing for fans long ago. And if they just kept doing so, surely brand sponsorships would also be happy. So I didn't understand that part, but here we are, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, what's there to say about Vince McMahon that we really haven't started to say over the past month or two, right? We've said a lot already.
That's true.
But now that he's gone, it's easier to say that this was a long time coming, obviously. It was necessary for it's necessary for what his company has become to get back on track and become an actual pro wrestling company again. Right? Like, we don't need to see Otis vomiting anymore, or like we don't need to see that ridiculous stuff that one man is entertained by. That's over. It's over. That ridiculousness has to be over. Don't get me wrong. WWE is still going to do some things that make you say, why? Why would you do that? But that's what wrestling companies do. We say that about AEW sometimes. And AEW is probably the best company running, at least here in the United States, in terms of overall product, week in and week out. Probably the best. But that's just what happens with pro wrestling. We all walk away saying, why would you do that? No matter the company, no matter what's going on, right? So that's not shocking. But the fact that we can go into each week now and think, you know what? Maybe WWE isn't the most missable product in wrestling. Maybe it's worth checking out once in a while. And that's where, I don't know how much more you have to talk about Vince, but I want to talk about Triple H now. Triple H is the new head of creative. Everyone reports to him now. And it's not really shocking to think that Stephanie McMahon is the person that put him in that role, because it's probably likely, as we have two co-CEOs.
Yeah.
Nick Khan's taking care of the business side. Stephanie's probably more on the wrestling side. It works well. I get it. It makes sense. Nick Khan's making them a lot of money. That's why he's in that position, right? Like, that's why he's there. So for me, that makes sense. But Triple H being in a point of power after being out. He was out of power in every single way 5 months ago. And now, not only does he have his old position back, he is the head of WWE Creative. Not NXT, Not SmackDown,
Well,
not Raw,
NXT,
WWE.
NXT to a certain point. Now that NXT is sort of
No,
gotten...
that's my point. He has control of everything now.
Yeah.
It's not just he's
not
the
just NXT.
lead writer for SmackDown or
Yeah.
the lead writer for Raw.
Yes.
He is head of everything. Everything now goes through him.
Yes. The only other things I had to say about Vince McMahon, which I just feel like it's important to also bring up, is a lot of the why he's quitting.
He's a bitch. Sorry.
Why the resignation is happening. There was the report that WWE, obviously Wall Street Journal after report after another reporting of sexual harassment, relationships, stuff that may have been paid, NDAs and hush money is of millions of dollars, rape accusations, and et cetera. I think this was published yesterday that the WWE finds $14.6 million in, quote, unrecorded expenses made by Vince McMahon. Basically, expenses that made by Vince McMahon that should have been cited as, what's the word? Not, I forget what it's called. Shit, I'm forgetting the word. Whatever. Basically, expenses made by Vince McMahon that should have been on the company's dime, so that financial statements from 2019 to now for WWE are going to be restated. So that is important to note, that amid all these cover-ups and affairs and all this other stories, is that currently the number sits at, and this number has gotten bigger and bigger the year goes by and the weeks go by. Currently, the number sits at $14.6 million for unrecorded expenses. The company so basically what's happening also is that the company should have paid for it. Vince McMahon personally paid for it at the time, but it should have been through the company. So Vince is going to pay for it, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
The other big thing that came out of it was that yesterday as well, was that the federal prosecutors and the SEC are probing ex-WWE CEO Vince McMahon's hush money payments. This comes from CNBC. That the SEC and federal prosecutors have launched probes into payments made by Vince McMahon to settle allegations of sexual misconduct, according to a Wall Street Journal report. So the federal government is now looking into this. That's not good. I'm sure WWE knew about this partly, and that's why we got a more sudden result. I think a big talking point as well from 2 weeks ago, Vince McMahon saying, fuck them, and then going out there on live television on SmackDown, to resigning 2 weeks later. I think that's a big point. I think there's more coming up, but we'll see.
Resigning 2 weeks later before a Madison Square Garden show and SummerSlam, to be exact.
It is
two massive shows.
For a stubborn guy like Vince McMahon, he got pushed out.
Oh, yeah.
That's my opinion.
To dumb it down for everybody.
Thank you.
Like, you didn't want to hear that. He's a piece of shit. There you go.
Yeah.
That's my way to dumb it down. And I say dumb it down because I'm dumbing it down for myself personally. There's a lot of things going around. The easiest way is just be like, okay, this guy's a piece of shit. He's getting everything that he deserves, and that's that. So to me, good. It's about time.
To set the table of what you're talking about before, company news for WWE. WWE and board of directors announced new co-CEOs Stephanie McMahon and Nick Khan. This was on Friday as well. WWE and its board of directors today announced the appointment of Stephanie McMahon and Nick Khan as co-chief executive officers. Miss McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, has also been appointed chairwoman of the board, and Mr. Khan will continue.
That's big time.
Yes, Mr. Khan will continue to serve as a member of the board, along with like CFO and all the other stuff that he has. These appointments follow Vince McMahon's resignation announcement on Friday. We are grateful for the opportunity to lead WWE together with our unmatched management team, says Ms. McMahon and Mr. Khan. We recognize this is a tremendous opportunity and responsibility, and we look forward to serving the WWE universe. Additionally, WWE executive Paul Levesque, aka Triple H, will assume all responsibilities related to WWE's creative, in addition to his regular duties, which also on Friday became head of talent relations. So
that was the first thing that dropped.
That blew everybody's mind.
I was like, oh, cool.
That's cool.
Like, that's great. That's awesome. Yeah, fuck you, Johnny Ace. Normal behavior.
Everyone at the time was like, all right, Johnny Ace is the fall guy. And then a couple hours later, Vince is gone.
They were like, Oh, he's also the fall guy. Got it.
So
Again, a
Triple
lot of
H,
unpacked there.
yes. So let's talk about, like you said, let's talk about Triple H, head of
Give me that
talent
Triple
relations.
H. My time.
Let's talk about the
My
game.
time.
Head of talent relations
This is how you play the game, baby.
and head of creative. Like you said,
He's
he
been the head
was.
of creative since 2000 when he was head of creative for himself.
That's true. He is someone that let's talk about Triple H. So he had NXT. He was the head of creative for NXT. He built up that brand to become and decided for it to become a touring brand. They toured that brand and brought in indie stars all over the place. And NXT
it became the best product in the U.S.
Yes, 100%. The best American wrestling television product. Well, maybe not television product at the time, but
not television
product
at
the time for years. 4 years, the mid 2000s, 2010s, I should say. For years, it was the best product. Then it started to trickle down a little bit. AEW started. NXT went head to head. I believe that was more of a Vince decision than Triple H's decision in terms of moving NXT to television. Then booking was fine for a little bit. Then it started to get really worse and malaise and kind of boring. Ultimately, NXT ended up losing, quote unquote, that Wednesday Night War. Vince McMahon was not happy about that, demoted Triple H within the company. Then Triple H obviously had a heart condition. I forget exactly what it was. Heart condition that put him out of action completely for months. Almost died. NXT gets completely rebranded to what it is now today, NXT 2.0. Triple H is gone for a bit, still kind of executive, kind of don't know what's happening, and now he's come back into the light. He's now the head of talent relations after Johnny Laurinaitis and the now head of WB Creative. So, how do you feel about Triple H being head of WWE Creative?
Oh, he's absolutely the right choice. And I know people have been spending all day like, well, NXT when it got put to 2 hours was pretty bad, and it was still better than Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown. You have to remember this. It was still better than those shows. And now he has the biggest stars in the company on each show. So that alone, I have to just put that out there.
Not just the biggest stars of the company, but some of those stars from the company are people he brought in from NXT and he built up in NXT.
Yep.
Several names, almost the entire women's division. Kevin Owens, Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, all these guys are people that he brought in. Continue.
And, those were the guys that made NXT great. There's still a lot of them left. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Finn Balor. Those are like his 3 main guys for a long time there. Seth Rollins, his original guy in NXT, right? And then the women, like you said, it's pretty much the whole division that's left. They haven't cut them all. By the way, Sasha Banks, if she's not coming back, I'll be shocked. Just wanted to put that out there. As long as she's still on contract, I wouldn't be shocked. Because Triple H loves Sasha Banks, as you would, because she's your biggest star. But nonetheless, there is a lot to like because of those reasons. I said yesterday, Finn Balor's birthday was yesterday. I said he got the best birthday present his career could have ever gotten, and that is Triple H in the seat. Right? He's in the seat. These people are going to matter now. Shinsuke Nakamura going to matter now. Like all these people that Vince didn't get that are still there, because obviously a lot of them are gone, but the ones that are still there, they're going to matter. Tommaso Ciampa cut a great promo after Raw yesterday about The Miz being a star. And I just sat there. I was like, this is not going to last long. Ciampa's probably going to be fine now. But it's like those little things. I was like, does Ciampa cut that promo at all? If like I think these are the little things we're noticing. And do I think Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown are going to change overnight to become must-see products? Absolutely not. I don't think that's happening. I don't think there's a chance that happens overnight. But to me, it's still possible that they can just become shows you actually want to watch some of. Just some of, Ryan. We reached a point where no one wanted to watch any of them. And I watched part of Raw last night. I didn't watch it all, but I watched certain parts. I'm not saying he had a lot to do with that because, again, he is building to a card that he didn't make. He's completing that. He's doing the right thing. You complete what has already been in progress. It's the right thing to do, especially with a week away. Had this happened a month and a half out, SummerSlam is going to be a different card, but it didn't. It's the week of, and it almost was a different card. Shout out Brock. But this is what you got to do, right? And I watched the show, and maybe it's those rose-colored glasses. It probably is, but I was like, this is better. This part of Raw is better than anything that I've seen on Raw or SmackDown in months that I've watched the video on social media and been like, wow, that was terrible. And then you look to guys who are already getting pushed that are Triple H guys. Shout out Walter. Walter's going to be in the driver's seat even more now. Guaranteed. That guy went from probably just a mid-card heel to a potential world champion again.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you Butch isn't lasting much longer. Like, that is not going to happen.
I completely forgot about Butch.
Yeah, Butch is going to get moved on and fixed. And, that's what's happening. LA Knight, that was a story this week. Max Dupree disappears, gone, pretty much kicked off of TV. 2 days later, Triple H is in power again. Guess who's probably going to come back as LA Knight? Like, these are the things that are in motion. This is the excitement that we have because the guys that helped us fall in love with NXT, they all have a shot now.
Yeah.
That's it. They have a shot. I don't expect Raw to be perfect. I don't expect SmackDown to be perfect. I expect AEW Dynamite each and every week to be the best wrestling show on television. That's not changing. But the fact that I can sit there and say, you know what? This might be better. That's the win.
I don't want to necessarily break your rose-colored glasses. I don't know if it will. Should also be said that in the second segment of this morning's Wrestling Observer, this is coming from Reddit, Dave Meltzer notes how last night's Raw show was written on Thursday, one day prior to Vince McMahon's resignation. A few small changes were made, but it was largely Vince's last ever written show. Dave also said to basically throw the episode out and don't count it towards the new regime, as it was still very much a Vince show, with the exclusion of the show being tore up in the last 30 minutes. So if you're really looking at what is the first show, NXT maybe, probably not, but definitely SmackDown on Friday, and then SummerSlam. I don't imagine there'd be too many different things.
I still think it was a decent show. I didn't watch it all, to be fair. I watched Rey Mysterio Celebration.
Yeah.
And I saw Roman destroy Austin Theory, which there's no way that was changed.
Yeah.
Roman changed that one.
I think there were details littered throughout that were Triple H flourishes, but the main story beats were Vince. If that how things were done, how things were shot, how things were set up. I think that was sort of a Triple H thing. But,
absolutely.
But that is Triple H is fascinating. You brought up a great point that I really would love to talk about, and that is Triple H as head of talent relations. His job is to make everyone happy, and part of that is also a lot of wrestlers. The way to their heart is getting booked well. A lot of people in the current WWE roster system are from Triple H's NXT, and a lot of the people there are Triple H's kids, Triple H's babies. A lot of people there. Like I said, the entire women's roster. You listed 10 more names of the men's roster that are in his corner. Not just the people that are there. The biggest news part to this, to me, is him being creative is one of the reasons people constantly left WWE is because of their creative decisions, their booking, and how it affected them. Cesaro was someone that in that way. If this happened months ago, maybe Cesaro was still there. John Moxley is a good point. If this happened years ago, maybe John Moxley is still there. If this happened months ago, maybe Sasha Banks and Naomi are still there. They're still free agents.
They have a shot.
We all took it as, oh yeah, they're 100% going to AEW. Now they could easily come back to WWE because WWE always had the money over AEW, but now they have the money and potentially better booking and a more friendly face to go to than Vince McMahon. Johnny Gargano has been out.
That was a big one yesterday.
Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae as well, have been out for a while. I think two people that Vince McMahon, obviously Johnny Gargano especially, that Triple H really loves and enjoys.
Just consider them back.
The entire landscape of wrestling free agency, I think, is going to change. I mean, William Regal, let's talk about him.
Right.
Someone that would probably come back. I mean, we'll probably say Road Dogg come back and all that jazz. But William Regal is someone that was Triple H's, like, nearly, I would say, his right-hand man for years. And he left. Yeah, I could see him come back.
He got let go.
Well, he got let go, but I could see him come back if he doesn't want to do AEW anymore. The idea of this is the Triple H and creative and talent relations is the biggest shot across the bow to AEW that WWE could do passively, I guess you could say. Obviously there are bigger reasons why they have to do that, but the ramifications that affect other companies are huge. Look, Shinsuke Nakamura and Kushida were people that he brought over from New Japan. He has access to more money now. Who else could he bring from New Japan? Who else could he bring from AEW? They can start taking people from AEW. They already got Cody, which, by the way, I'm very excited to see how Cody is booked in this Triple H reign.
Cody's winning the damn world title at WrestleMania. That's what's happening.
Yeah,
that's more of a guarantee than anything else now.
How much more off the leash could Cody be? I don't know. MJF.
Oh, he's bleeding like crazy. His first match back.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that's 100% true.
MJF, that's the biggest one.
Especially if they're going to TV 14, which is another talking point. MJF is out there. There are, any number of people can be going now. The
free agency has changed.
It's wild. The idea AEW needs the new TV money coming their way, assuming it's coming their way, because they do not have the bankroll to maybe secure some of their own wrestlers.
No.
And that is a terrifying statement. I could see Triple H being like, Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks look pretty good to me. They're not really being booked, to the best extent. Let me take them over and make him a star. I could easily see these things happening. It is a fast. I mean, Chris Jericho, I guess, could also be another one. I don't know.
Jericho. I don't think Jericho's more of a Vince guy.
Yeah, I don't think Jericho likes Triple H that much. But the idea is still the same. It is a massive blow, kind of passively, to AEW and New Japan and any other companies. I mean,
it makes it interesting again.
It is the most passive, indirect return to the war. Yeah. I would say it is, and that is a huge element to it. People are going to be better booked, presumably. People are, because it is also Triple H's job to make sure people are happy. It's fascinating.
This is perfect. Fightful Select reported the Triple H talent meeting before Raw. So here is what they wrote.
Go for it.
Triple H is leading up creative in WWE in place of Vince McMahon and is talking to talent about it. The move was announced on July 25th, and at that night's WWE Raw tapings, the new EVP of Talent Relations and head of creative spoke at a talent meeting. Talent that we were able to speak with said that the meeting went really well, and there is a lot of optimism surrounding the change in creative from others in the company. Triple H led the meeting and promised the talent transparency that some of them don't feel has existed under the previous regime. He also said that he wants open lines of communication between himself and talent. Waiting for hours for the opportunity to maybe speak to Vince McMahon had become commonplace in recent years, with FaceTime with him dwindling. We also were told that Triple H said that he wants work to be fun.
Yeah.
We'll work on learning more, but the general consensus has been positive.
It's not going to be the
That's
same.
night one.
It's not going to be the same ecosystem per se,
No.
but it is a similar. It is a more similar mindset to Tony Khan than to Vince McMahon, I would say, if that makes sense. And
Hey,
that
if they have better
alone,
communication, that could be a benefit for them.
that's true. That alone is going to be a massive difference for this company and a massive difference for talent, and that's huge.
It's very timely, and we'll get to the Gresham stuff later. But when your head of talent relations is also your head of creative, hello, that's who you're going through either way.
Yep.
So that's kind of a big deal. The reason NXT worked was because Triple H worked with everybody. He talked with everybody. And yes, I understand 1 hour of NXT television compared to 5 hours of WWE television plus maybe NXT is going to be a big difference. It's going to take a while before he gets his team in there, right? Because a lot of his team's gone.
Yeah. Shawn Michaels is heading up NXT 2.0.
Jeremy Borash is like the only one left.
Road Dogg is gone, but he can easily be brought back in. He didn't get the job at AEW. William Regal's gone, but who knows? I don't know how long of a contract that is. I'm trying to whoever else is. I mean, not even who is gone or who can still be brought up. The people that are from the Vince regime that are still there that could easily be pushed out.
They're probably my thought is that the Kevin Dunns and the Bruce Pritchards of the world, they're going to be kept at least through SummerSlam.
Yes.
Because you kind of need full hands on deck for your second biggest pay-per-view of the year.
Yes.
And then changes are going to happen. And I think that's smart. But you could tell just from how we're talking about, there's optimism here that I think everyone should have optimism. I understand being pessimistic and kind of being like, well, really?
The last year of NXT Vince was kind of boring and not great.
Yeah, but again, give me the NXT on USA over the Raw and SmackDown.
Yes.
Because you know what? I was watching NXT.
I
wasn't watching Raw and SmackDown, right? And we were comparing NXT to AEW. That's mostly why it was bad. If we weren't comparing it to that, probably would have liked it more.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't have minded. And we gotta say this. Triple H was booking to try to beat AEW. He doesn't have to do that now. He can actually tell stories. He doesn't have to just toss world title matches on TV just so he can compete
to pop a rating.
That doesn't have to happen anymore.
He's not going up against AEW head to head. He's not at
all. No, it's just him having his own shows, worrying about his own thing, and that's when he cooked. He cooked in the creative room when he did that. So that's why I'm optimistic. Free agency changes. There's gonna be plenty of back and forth between AEW and WWE roster members. There are going to be switches, and that's the business. This is actually, it's not a competition between AEW and WWE, but it's a competition for talent.
Yes.
So that's very important. So those guys that are as part of AEW that may not be getting that push, say a Ricky Starks, like you said, who is good friends with Cody Rhodes, by the way. It's possible. And I just want to present this before we, move on finally or whatever.
Yeah.
Is it crazy to think that the door could be open?
That is the biggest mystery, is how Triple H feels regarding that. I personally,
any door.
I personally
doesn't have to be the AEW door.
No, yes, I agree.
Though they have a pretty good connection.
I don't know, because so Triple H is really the guy that headed up the independent wrestling partnership division, right? Evolve, ICW, Progress, I think WXW. He's the guy that really headed that up and took all their talent eventually and those companies are very much shells if their former self, if not existing at all anymore.
He was making his own
Progress.
company.
Or
You also
Evolve.
have to remember that.
That's
what he
also
was doing.
true. So the idea of working for another company in like an AEW, New Japan, is different because there's a difference also between a one-off show versus a ongoing relationship.
Right.
Like Progress and all those other shows had. So I don't know. That is a big question for me, and I would love to see how that plays out.
It's nice to see there's a question.
Yes.
Right? Like, that's the best part.
It's not a
I don't
closed
really
door.
care if it doesn't happen.
It wasn't a closed door before Vince,
Yeah,
Triple
the door
H,
creaks open now.
Yeah.
The door creaks open just a little bit. You got someone that literally is connected as can be to AEW on your roster. And on the other side, AEW has countless guys that are Triple H guys. Countless. So you just never know. You never know. And that's why I brought it up. I don't think it happens today. I don't think it happens next month. I don't think it happens like in the next 3 or 4 months. But at least the conversation can be had that maybe someday, even if it's a one-off.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just one big show to pack an arena.
Yeah.
A stadium. You never know. But the idea is there. And that, again, I think plays to the point of why we are optimistic. It's like the fact we can have these conversations and not just say, no, not a shot. That's cool to me. I'm interested to see. Obviously, next week when we review SummerSlam, we're not going to walk away from it and be like, yeah, that was the greatest show that WWE's ever done or has done in years. We're not going to do that. It's still a Vince McMahon card. It's still a Vince McMahon show.
Yeah.
But Clash at the Castle, whatever the hell it's called, Survivor Series,
Royal Rumble,
all these shows up, Royal Rumble, all these shows upcoming, that's going to be where it changes. Yeah. WrestleMania next year has a much brighter picture now, right? It has a much brighter picture. A chance, and I'm sure there's going to be matches that were probably already planned that will still be on that card, say Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey, but that's because it's a big money match.
Yep.
No matter what we feel about it, it's still a big money match if you switch the roles, and I think we see that go into play sooner rather than later. But again, I'm excited. I'm legitimately excited to see how this all goes. Does it crash and burn? Maybe. Does it get worse? No, it doesn't, because it can't.
I can't see how it gets worse. I mean, let alone that Kevin Dunn and Triple H don't like each other. Kevin Dunn, his days are numbered. Those camera cuts, that's what I mean. Like, it's those small
that things. Alone makes it better.
Those small things of the camera cuts might be gone. It's so good. All right, let's we've talked about it enough. There's obviously more stuff. This is a fascinating stuff. I don't. There's probably more I could talk about, but I also don't know.
There will be more.
I don't. Yeah.
We're gonna have more every single week until it's over.
I'm sure there'll be some stuff next week that will be unveiled. So let's talk
anyone
about.
Listening, don't worry. We're not covering Raw and SmackDown on a weekly basis. That is not happening.
No. So let's move on to Ring of Honor. If anything, Scotty, it might mean our WWE previews might be better.
That goes without saying, I think.
Our Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor review. Obviously, we got a full card in front of us, but I want to start off with the two big news items of it as well. The beginning of the show and the end. Beginning of the show and the end of the show. Big opening of the show. The Ring of Honor World Title match. Claudio Castagnoli defeated the champion Jonathan Gresham, who is now sided up with Prince Nana of the Embassy
in an 11-minute match.
An 11-minute and 30 seconds. So Gresham, supposedly, according to various reporters, Gresham was unhappy with how he was being booked, unhappy with decisions being made, allegedly cursed out Tony Khan, went out, didn't wear the robe, didn't have the flag, didn't have the mask, just went out in a t-shirt. 11 minutes later, lost the title looking at the lights. The next day, we hear a report, he immediately deactivates not only his own Twitter account, but the Terminus Twitter account. Sorry, Baron Black. And then we also hear reports
He
that
just got his first win in AEW.
and also
God
hear
damn.
reports that Jonathan Gresham wants out of his contract of AEW / Ring of Honor.
Sounds like he's out.
It sounds like
that was the update.
he is pissed and he is out. And wow, so where do you want to start? The match, the champ, the former champ. Where do you want to start? I think the match is easier.
We gotta start at the match, and it's because I want to start by saying they made the right choice.
Yeah,
like I
ultimately.
understand the difficulties here. I understand that Jonathan Gresham deserves to be pissed. His title reign got screwed from day one. He won the title when Ring of Honor was going dark.
Yeah.
That alone was always going to be unfortunate. And he did his best with that title to keep it active. You know, he wrestled, he defended on the indies, he defended Impact, GCW, like he defended it everywhere he could. That alone, bravo to him.
Yeah.
But we gotta recognize this is Tony Khan's vision.
Mm-hmm.
He is now building this. He is going to put in position who he wants to put, because listen, he's not just owning this company, he's trying to sell this company for a TV deal. And no offense to Jonathan Gresham, but the guy that is known for his time in WWE on top over the guy that not nearly enough people know is always going to be the better option for that TV deal.
Great point.
I have no problem with it. By the way, Claudio getting his moment to be world champion for the first time ever, that's awesome. Claudio getting to pretty much be the head of a company, I'm not complaining about that whatsoever. But I understand the Jonathan Gresham anger too. Like, one, people pile on this guy like it's nobody's business, right? With the height stuff, and it happens all the time. There's a reason he's not on Twitter anymore, and it's not just that. And it sucks that it had to happen this way, because his frustrations, again, he wasn't involved on AEW television at all. And when he went heel last second. And then Tully left. And Prince Nana's here. And don't get me wrong, Prince Nana's great. Awesome. Mm-hmm. But it's just so last second. And it's like, oh, you're doing all these things, and it's a lot of moving parts.
The Prince Nana thing might have been influenced by, apparently.
Well, that was influenced by Tully.
Yeah, apparently Tully did not get on his flight because he was doing his allegedly he was doing his like prison story time, his ministry thing. So
whatever,
you know.
But my main point is that's a lot of moving parts last second for the Ring of Honor world champion, who was probably losing either way. So I understand his frustrations. I understand him wanting to move on. It sucks that he might be stepping away from wrestling, because while I don't always love his matches, I don't always love Pure Rules, Jonathan Gresham's a great wrestler.
Yeah.
When he goes like the faster style, like his match with Takeshita from Terminus, that was really good. Of course, it had a shitty ending because that's just what happens at those shows, but it was really good. Like, I'm sorry, I had to add that in because it's incredible how many times
it's Jonathan Gresham matches at Terminus, baby. They always end that way.
And this is the final point I'll say. No one cared about Ring of Honor more than Jonathan Gresham.
Yeah.
The Foundation was a nickname, but it's what he felt.
Yeah.
He cared so dearly about that promotion. So think of what he's been through. He watched it pretty much die. He watched it get sold. He watched himself kind of, just try to make it exist while it was shut down in the first place. And now he has to deal with someone new, a new company, a new guy who's going to make his own decisions. That's how business works, people. Like Triple H is going to have his own guys in WWE as champion down the line. And don't get me wrong, Roman Reigns is one of his guys.
Yeah.
But that's my point. That's how this works. We just got over talking about it. Tony Khan has his guys.
Yeah.
That's just how it works. Him and Jonathan Gresham don't know each other. They don't know each other, and we know that now. They didn't talk, right? So, from the Wrestle Purist podcast where Gresham was interviewed, Gresham was talking about how he's never had talked to Tony Khan. They didn't have conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And there's part of the problem, and I think there is communication problems in AEW. We've heard it multiple times. Some people shut it down, but some people have confirmed it. So that is true too. But I think crowning Claudio is the right move.
Yeah.
But I also think Gresham's anger is totally understandable.
Yeah, the match itself was pretty good. You know, there wasn't it
was
wasn't
nothing special.
nothing too special. Nothing, you know, nothing kind of just
the moment was special.
Moment was better, and then the news was even better. Yeah, no, I completely understand I completely understand Jonathan Gresham feeling, I would say, disrespected. Right? He is someone that, I guess that's the line, right? Is that he is someone that was appointed as the face of Ring of Honor when it was dying. I don't know if that is a self-appointed face or an actually appointed. He was booked to be the world champion, but he kept taking bookings and defending the world title and all that jazz. He constantly talked about how keeping the Ring of Honor brand alive was his baby, what he wanted. His own wife, Jordan Grace, has mentioned, why didn't you just take a different paycheck? Why didn't you just sign with Impact? And he said, no, I wanted to wait. I want to wait and keep Ring of Honor alive. This promotion feels...
He's going Impact, by the way.
Yeah, 100%. This promotion is super important to Jonathan Gresham. And it has become his identity, I would say. So when Ring of Honor gets sold and AEW starts, he is the face of it, so he retains the title. He has these other title matches, the Battle of the Belts against Castle. I imagine the Lee Moriarty match at Rampage would have happened here, and then Claudio would have debuted here if not for the Bryan Danielson stuff. So we would have had it. This would have happened a while later. I think this still would have happened no matter what. But then all that back end things got pushed into 11 days. So Gresham felt disrespected, felt pushed aside, and just didn't work out for him.
You know, it's a good, for instance, you said it kind of became him.
Yeah.
Right? Ring of Honor was him. My best comparison for something we've seen like this is maybe Sting in WCW. Right? Sting didn't just jump to WWE when WCW closed. That just isn't him.
Yeah.
He was WCW. That was his promotion. And he went down with the ship. And Jonathan Gresham was prepared to do the same.
Yep.
And he tried because his promotion was staying alive. WCW didn't stay alive. It just got brought in and eaten.
Shifted around, some went to TNA, some of stuff.
Right. Ring of Honor, it stayed alive in a sense. So to him, he said, okay, I'll give this a shot because this is the promotion I care about. There's still parts there that are Ring of Honor, right? Even to the commentary team. Riccaboni and Caprice are still the team.
Yep.
The logo still says Ring of Honor. The titles are still Ring of Honor titles. Like all those things. So I get why he tried. I understand why he didn't sign with Impact because it mattered a lot to him. So that alone, I totally respect. And I get why we are where we are now. It sucks.
Yeah.
It does suck because I think Gresham would have been a great piece of the Ring of Honor roster.
Agreed.
But again, Tony Khan had to put his guys in place. He has all his champions now. And truthfully, Ring of Honor looks better now than it's been in a long time because of it.
We talked about it last week that we kind of thought that Claudio would win, Gresham might move to the pure title division, and Cage might bump up. Like we even had the same idea probably TK probably had, and Gresham probably saw that. I talk about, he was the sort of a self-appointed face of Ring of Honor, but of what version of Ring of Honor? Tony Khan loves old school Ring of Honor, the CM Punk, Samoa Joe, Kenta days, right? Danielson, not a fan of the Sinclair current regime of that. And who became...
Most people aren't.
And that is why the company didn't exist anymore. And who became the face of that company? Gresham. by becoming the face of that company, maybe help keep it alive to be sold to a certain extent. But it is not the thing that Tony Khan wants, right? It is not the thing that Tony Khan wanted. He wants old school Ring of Honor, the thing that made it popular. So he's going to have the title on Claudio. He's going to bring in Colt Cabana. He's going to probably bring in other guys, Slim J and Ace Steel, I guess. I'm sure he's going to want to bring in Kenta at some point.
He's going to count on it to be what made it popular in the first place.
Exactly. And what didn't
As
make
you
it
should.
And what didn't make, and we talked about this when we talked about this, you can look it back up when Ring of Honor was getting sold. You know, we liked Ring of Honor. I really enjoyed Ring of Honor, but a lot of people didn't, and that's the reason why the company didn't exist anymore, right?
I'm going to be that guy.
One of the reasons why the company didn't exist anymore.
He ended up giving us the one part of Sinclair Ring of Honor that I wanted, and that was the lucha aspect. That's the one thing he gave me, and I was like, good, that's all I wanted you to keep. I didn't need you to keep anything else. I think it's smart. I think he has everything correct in place. I saw some people say that it was like AEW with worse production, and I couldn't disagree more.
Yeah.
I think Ring of Honor has its own feel. I think Ring of Honor feels like Ring of Honor in a lot of ways. Did
you notice the hard cam was different? Did you notice that? I realized that when I was watching the women's match.
Yeah.
Instead of showing the ring apron, it's right. The bottom of the frame is right on the ring apron, seeing all the fans.
I like it. It's the little things. Just try to change it up. I get that.
Yeah.
And I like that. Again, we're gonna go through the pay-per-view, but he's leading Ring of Honor into a potential contract with these guys as his champion.
Yeah.
Claudio Castagnoli, Dalton Castle and the boys.
FTR.
FTR, Samoa Joe, Mercedes Martinez, right? Like and Wheeler Yuta. And he's leading them because, listen, these are all people he can put on his AEW production.
Yep.
Until we get there to build their names more.
As he's waiting for TV. You know?
Yeah, it makes all the sense in the world. Sucks for Gresham. I don't have much more to say about Gresham. I think we said it all.
Yeah.
I hope he comes back to wrestling when he's, when he maybe chills out, because he has a lot of he's been working a lot despite. Well, actually, he slowed down once he signed with AEW, but maybe there's a lot of frustration there. I look forward to him coming back. I think him and Impact would be good. Maybe he dips his toe back in New Japan while he's with Impact. That's very possible. Like, there's ways for him to go, but it all both sides. I get it.
Oh, 100%.
Let's talk about the pay-per-view, because the pay-per-view is really good.
Main event that was also newsworthy was the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Title Best 2 out of 3 Falls match. FTR defeating the Briscoes in 43 minutes and 26 seconds. Not a two pin sweep by the Briscoes here. The first ever 2 out of 3 Falls match that they've lost in Ring of Honor. But boy howdy, this match was great. Was it as good as the last one? No, that one I think was a certified classic, 5-star classic, easy peasy.
Yeah.
This match was still great.
This was an epic, though. This was an epic. And epics are more hit or miss for a lot of people, but it didn't miss. I'll tell you that.
It certainly did not miss. It certainly did not miss. This match was fantastic work by all 4 men. It was definitely slowed down a lot more than the last one, or at least felt slowed down a lot more. They were taking their pacing, taking their time, and it makes sense of that story, is that, they went out there guns a-blazing last time, but this time they have to be more strategic, more methodical in what they're trying to accomplish, because one slip up and you lose the match, right? I mean, that happens every match, I guess, but you're now, one slip up and you can now be at one pinfall over the Briscoes, and you're like, oh crap, we need to get 2 now. So, bigger hill. So it's a lot of interesting things there as well. So what do you think of the match?
Oh, I thought the match was excellent. It wasn't really shocking that it was excellent. My best way to kind of give everyone an idea is, if that first one didn't happen this year, this would be in the conversation for Tag Team Match of the Year, no question about it.
Mm-hmm.
But that first one happened. And the fact that they got to this point as a second match and delivered so much is an accomplishment on their part. It's asking a lot. But the Briscoes, another important part. They're signed to long-term Ring of Honor deals.
Yes.
Another news story that just got lost in all of this, but that's important. They get to take indie dates as long as that was one of the key parts Tony Khan said. They could take indie dates, especially until TV comes back for Ring of Honor, which is great. The Briscoes in Ring of Honor, it's the only right thing, right? They shouldn't be anywhere else. This is their home. It's great. They're still among the elite tag teams in the world. Like, they're in that conversation with FTR and the Young Bucks. And they put on a show. I love the finish to this match with Dax hitting the pile driver off the top and just turning over, getting his foot on Briscoe for the 1-2-3, because it showed how tiring this match was.
Yeah.
How much they went through. Listen, them getting the main event was perfect. If you didn't have this match main event, it would have been wrong.
Yeah.
It felt right. It was great. FTR, again, at the top of their game. The Briscoes, at the top of their game, truthfully, even though they're not showing it as much because they're not on TV as much as FTR, they are at the top of their game all these years later. So
that is also
fantastic stuff.
That's the great news. If you sign long-term deals of Ring of Honor, that means they can be on AEW television. Yeah. So we might see
someday
them
we're
around
getting
the corner.
There. I think we're getting there. Because people were like, well, they're not on AEW. Tony Khan sounded uncertain. I was like, yes, but they were on Bleacher Report.
We're on Bleacher Report, and that is one step in the right direction. And can I speaking about that Briscoes thing, quick little victory lap, called it, baby. Called it last week. I told you. I was like,
it would have been upsetting if you didn't call it.
Yeah, I was like,
because I wanted you to be so right, and thank God you were.
Yeah,
it would have been upsetting otherwise.
Saying that 100%, I was like, I think they're signed. I think they're already signed. There we go, baby.
You're right. Way to be. And in Ring of Honor, like, we're gonna talk about the rest of the show real quick too, but
sure.
Ring of Honor still has the charm, right? It has Riccaboni and Caprice on commentary, and that's such an important part of the package. And they have, this is gonna sound funny, but they have a logo that kind of embodies Ring of Honor and like the history. And all I need now is just matching titles. And when I say matching, I mean let's just get the right logo on all these titles, because we currently have every single Ring of Honor logo going right now.
Yeah.
On the world title, we have the original. On the tag titles, we have the really prominent one. On the pure title, I don't even know which one. On the women's title, it's the most current one. We just have so many.
Yeah.
That's my on the television title too, we have the most current one. So that's my next thing. And I didn't expect Tony Khan to have brand new titles made for this show, but eventually, let's get a move on. We can't have also, like, no offense, but the original Ring of Honor title, world title, does not look like a world title.
No,
it looks like scrap metal.
It does. It's an indie title for sure.
It looks like the tag titles.
It does. I think that creates more confusion. Well, I mean, not about confusion, but it looks too similar. Let's talk about the rest of the card. Ring of Honor World Television title match. We just kind of talked about that. Samoa Joe versus Jay Lethal. I thought this match was pretty good.
Samoa Joe's back.
Samoa Joe's back, but definitely slower. I mean,
he's older.
He's definitely older, but I think that despite the age, he's still putting out good performances.
And injuries.
They have to hide a couple things with him.
Yeah.
And I think putting him with Jay Lethal was a great move. They held the whole Satnam Singh thing.
I think you can still have classics with better wrestlers. I think you can still have a classic with a Danielson.
Yeah.
Because obviously Danielson's Danielson, but the way they would wrestle and the style fits more. Lethal's fine, but Joe's more gritty in his style, and Joe still has that presence about him. He literally doesn't have to have a good match ever again, and he's still very important. The brawl before the match was great.
Yeah, I thought that brawl was really good. I really enjoyed. I mean, Satnam Singh, I think they're using him effectively.
He's good.
Honestly. I think they're really using him effectively.
They've won me over after the wet fart that was his debut.
Oh, sure. But it is what is it? What's the thing he does where he goes like, "Yo," he slaps his knee and then does a finger point?
Yeah.
I don't know what that's about, but yeah, no. But I thought this match was pretty good. The rest of this card, besides those two like news items in the main event, a lot of this card itself was like pretty good, but nothing I would like write home about per se.
Oh no. Roosh versus Dragon Lee. I'm
Well,
writing home about.
we'll get to that, I guess. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here that was just like, oh yeah, it's pretty good match. Ring of Honor Women's World Title match: Mercedes Martinez versus Serena Deeb. I thought this was pretty good.
A lot of praise for this one.
I thought this was one of the better matches I've seen from Mercedes Martinez since leaving
It's the
NXT.
best one I've seen. No. Backtrack. This is probably the best Mercedes Martinez match I've seen since she signed with NXT.
Sure. This match was really good. Serena Deeb, Mercedes Martinez. It took a little bit for the crowd to get into this match, but once they did, they got there. I feel like it was the D basically being dropped on her head out of that spider suplex. I believe it was the move that just drops Deeb on her noodle. That was a fantastic spot. The crowd got into it after that point. Just a lot of good effort, good limb work that eventually won over the crowd and did a good job. Did a good job. Mercedes Martinez showed up here, and I greatly enjoyed it. But Serena Deeb again, fantastic. So, what are you gonna say?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. One of the better Tony Khan women's title matches, like under his umbrella. Serena Deeb's great. I was hoping she won, but good to see Serena Martinez not be a transitional champion. She can probably make it to the next pay-per-view, then maybe lose. They should probably find someone that they want to kind of help carry that too, and that will be part of it.
Can you think of anyone that you would like to see do that? I mean, I agree.
Dakota Kai.
Ooh, Dakota Kai's out there. Dakota Kai's Candice LeRae. Candice LeRae.
Well, I don't think Candice LeRae is coming. No,
I don't know. I don't know. It could go either way on it. I guess Candice LeRae is a pre-Triple H reign thought point, and I have to reassess a lot of things there.
Yeah, Candice LeRae would have been my choice, but I think Dakota.
Can I do a wild card that I think would actually be great?
Yeah.
Emi Sakura. Sure.
Oh, that'd be a great one.
I think
I think Tony Storm had a good dark match.
I know. I was there. Yeah, I think Emi Sakura would actually be really good in this spot. Maybe Hikaru Shida as well, but I think for some reason I feel like Emi Sakura would be really good in this spot.
Riho,
what's she doing?
Nothing. That's why I said it. She's never doing anything.
Let's talk about the next match.
Make this the wrestling title,
yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it.
That's what Ring of Honor is supposed to be.
Let's talk about singles match. The only singles match on the card, non-title match. Roosh versus Dragon Lee, with Roosh winning in 15 minutes and 50 seconds. Scotty, you have the floor because I know you want it.
Oh man, never let Dragon Lee go again. Never let this man go again. This man is so good. Everyone should be wanting to pay him. And I understand why New Japan can't. But listen, everyone else can. That's my whole thing. Like, AEW can pay him. They can give him a contract. You know why I know that? Because they have other AAA people on their roster, right? There is no problem there. They work with AAA for a reason. Sign Dragon Lee, put him with Roosh and Andrade, have that be the best trio in your company. No offense to all the other trios, but what a trio that would be. Roosh would be the weakest wrestler in that, by the way, which not a bad weak wrestler to have. Watching these two brothers go head to head, just so good, so enjoyable. I think it was a good like reintroduction for people that don't know who Dragon Lee is, like, because Roosh is presented as this big time star. You watch his entrance as the White Bull, and he just looks like $1 million, right? He's fighting Jon Moxley for the AEW World Title this week on Dynamite, after all.
Yeah.
So kind of introducing Dragon Lee and showing not only that he can hang, but like that tope spot where they went crashing through the table. Dragon Lee, he's in the same conversation as Darby Allin for the best tope in the game. like Dragon Lee's fantastic. Dragon Lee, I can't sing his praises enough. This guy needs to be on these shows. If you want to put him on Ring of Honor, so be it. If you want to put him on AEW, please do. Like that's rarely where I am. Roosh is an interesting wrestler to me because obviously, we know how he works. Like booking him can be a headache, I'm sure. But he's been good so far. He's been willing to, play ball, which has been great. And he's probably getting a heavy amount of money to play ball, more than Ring of Honor probably ever paid him.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the thing. Like as long as Roosh has the right mindset and is willing to play ball, he is a great part of your roster. I love this match. I think these two kicked each other's asses, which was great. Brother versus brother. First time ever, by the way. Crazy. Which is just like because they've been together pretty much forever, obviously, like in every roster they've been on. But my biggest takeaway is you have to sign Dragon Lee.
Yeah.
He's not doing anything.
You gotta sign Dragon Lee just so that you can do God, I can't believe they did the Andrade versus Darby Allin feud so early because we got to go circle back around so we can do Andrade versus or Darby versus Roosh, Darby versus Dragon Lee. That's got Hiromu energy, Hiromu Dragon Lee energy all around it.
It does.
Yeah,
he'll never get to go back to New Japan, so this is what I need.
Exactly. Or at the very least, you got to sign him
He's
to
also
AEW.
Time out. Dragon Lee is very young still. He is 27 years old.
Wow. He's got...
Yeah.
Oh, is that good? Damn. Yeah, no, this match is fantastic. The table spot, the diving
best match
table,
of the night for me, by the way.
Diving table spot looked awful and good at the same time. Like It wasn't like a perfect hit, but it also looked, and the table exploded in such a great way. But also, like, Dragon Lee was basically hit the table with his head and then broke it. Oh my god, that was a great table spot. And yeah, just Dragon Lee is a fantastic wrestler. You and I have sung his praises over and over again about Dragon Lee.
I will do it until he gets a contract.
Give him the bag, Jose.
He is the least difficult to book out of the two brothers.
Yeah.
He plays ball. Roosh doesn't play ball.
No.
He does now because he gets paid a lot. But like, there's going to be a time where Roosh probably says, "All right, I'm done." There's a reason we didn't get the Roosh is all elite graphic.
That's true. That is very true. Roosh only plays ball until he feels like the money he's making is not enough, and then that's going to happen.
He's Keiji Muto without the history behind him.
Oh man. Ring of Honor Pure title match. Wheeler Yuta defeats Daniel Garcia. A lot of this Daniel Garcia kid had a lot of Regal isms. He was shouting out, not really shouting out, but sort of shouting out in sort of a nagging way to William Regal on commentary. I thought this match was.
You must have loved this one.
What's that?
You must have loved this.
I thought it was pretty good. I wasn't I wasn't totally into it. I thought it was pretty good, but I wasn't like 100% in on board with this. I think that these two have a better match in them. The 1 hour Iron Man match, whatever it was, 1 hour draw is not necessarily the better match. This was not necessarily the better match. I think overall, I think these guys can have a better match. Maybe that's a couple years down the line. Maybe it's around the corner. I don't know. But I feel like these guys have better matches. And maybe it's the idea that both these guys are really good, but they are not yet on the land of can make other people better, per se. Like, they're really good wrestlers. You put them against people that are really good, they can have exceptional matches. Yes. But putting them against each other, it doesn't necessarily work in my head, I guess.
Right.
It still worked. I still really like this match. It still was really good. But I wasn't as like over the top as I thought it could be.
This was my third favorite match of the show. So like after the Roosh and Lee one, and then
the main
obviously
event.
After the main event.
Yeah.
I think it exceeded my expectations.
I think that's the same for me as well.
Yeah. As I said last week when I was on the show, like I didn't go into it as high expectations as other people have because I'm not as high on these two as everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
But that probably made the match better for me because like you're high on both of them, obviously. And I understand where you're coming from. It's like they could definitely have a better match. And you have to remember, like one of them's 25 and the other one's 23. Like they haven't even sniffed their prime yet.
No.
So I'm sure they're going to have a lot of great matches down the line. But this was a good showcase of like what they can do. The match got better as it got later to me because they got more physical. You know, listen, we talked about this. Pure Rules kind of suck and they didn't let it hurt them too much. They didn't do like the rope break was used once.
Yep.
And like it didn't really matter. It just was a regular match, which I thought benefited it a lot. I liked it. They did a great job, especially on the stage they were on. I look forward to, but I wouldn't be shocked if I walk away from Dynamite and I say Daniel Garcia had a better match on Dynamite because of who he's wrestling.
I think that's also my point is that he can have better matches with even better people. He's just, I mean, how old is he? He's 23, right?
Yeah, he's 23.
God,
this was one of those times though I walked away and I was like, okay, I get it. Like I get where because listen, anyone can have a great match with Danielson. Anyone can have a great match with CM Punk. I needed to see it against someone that's not that level, and I saw it. Right? Like I understand Daniel Garcia can have a great match with Jon Moxley. Guess what? Everyone's having a great match with Jon Moxley this year. It's not like it's like a new thing. You and me praised that Dynamite match a few months ago that they had. Like that I never thought like he was bad. It's just show me something with someone else that isn't that level. I thought he did here. And I'm interested to see where these two go, but they're two good pieces for that pure division. I hate Pure Rules, but they didn't make it bother them, so I enjoyed this.
There was also on the main card, last match on the main card for us, the Ring of Honor World 6-man tag team match. Dalton Castle and the boys now having names of Brandon and Brent. Defeated,
they got their names.
Defeated the Righteous, Bateman, Dutch, and Vincent with Vita Von Star.
That was great. I love these three. Like this was just fun.
Yeah, this match wasn't like entirely like good, maybe, but it was entirely fun. The boys being thrown out started to go over. Vita Von Star, just her moonsault was beautiful.
Dalton Castle felt fresh.
Yeah, he felt fresh. I think that one of the reasons the crowd wasn't into this is because they just did not know. This is 100% AEW crowd. No idea who the Righteous are. Barely know who the boys, Dalton Castle, are. They know who Dalton Castle is. I don't think they know the boys.
No one knows who the Righteous are.
Yeah, no one knows who the Righteous are. I love the Righteous. I love that group so much. It's just a shame. Loved. They're gone now. Yeah, they're definitely. I think this is their last match, but I think they're fantastic.
Impact, right?
I think they're fantastic. Yeah, Vincent's an Impact, Bateman's in New Japan, and Dutch is somewhere, I guess.
Hold on, Bateman's in New Japan strong. You got to be careful.
Fair enough.
You can't have people thinking he's over in Japan just like getting opportunities as other people are.
That's true. Dutch is he's just been on the indies.
It was a fun match to add though, and I'm happy they didn't kill off the 6-man titles like I expected they were. Yeah,
I'm glad. I'm glad to see them here. And I thought this was a fun match.
Though they do have a tough time now. It's like, oh, Ring of Honor has 6-man titles. Interesting. Ring of Honor does not have as many good trios as a certain other company does. So Kenny, get your ass back, buddy.
Get your back.
Was that last week too, or was that 2 weeks ago?
What was
the Kenny thing that he's coming back?
That was last week.
Hopefully around all.
That was last week.
So much stuff has happened. You gotta forgive me.
That's true. There was also the 0 Hour, which I don't know if you have any thoughts on any of these matches, but we had Colt Cabana defeated.
I have no thoughts.
Colt Cabana defeated Anthony Henry in 10 minutes. The Trust Busters.
Oh, the Embassy's dope.
The Embassy, Embassy, Brian Cage, Khan, and Toa Leona versus Alex Zane, Blake Christian, Tony Deppen. Yeah, that was a good match. The Embassy were pretty dope. Zane, Christian, dope, and also did a good job.
I like them with Nana. I think that's going to work out really well.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the Embassy destroy Dalton Castle and the boys. But I'd love to see Dalton Castle, the boys, versus Zayn, Christian, and Deppen. I think those three are a good pairing as well.
Like, was this the first time we've seen them in a match together? All three of them? I think it is. Yeah.
Of the Embassy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. They work perfectly together. Like,
yeah. And they're only going to get better.
The main guy.
They're only going to get
exactly. I like them a lot. They just kind of look like monsters, which obviously they are. And now you can work to a Brian Cage Claudio match down the line, which is going to be fantastic. Truthfully, I know people aren't Brian Cage's biggest fans, but like I can acknowledge he's a good wrestler.
Yeah.
And you know that he should have always been the main guy of this group. No offense to Gresham. We talked about it last week. And he definitely will be now. And I think with Khan and Toa Leona, it's a good combo. It's a good trio. I like it. And Prince Nana is really good.
Yeah.
So I think in time, as they work together more, it will really gel.
Agreed. There was also Ari Daivari and Slim J pre the Trustbusters. This is pre Parker Bordeaux. We know, spoilers, that he will be joining this group as well. Defeated Shinobi Shadow Squad, Cheeseburger, and Eli Isom. I wish Eli Isom was in a better spot, but it is what it is, I guess.
Give me some.
I also noticed
some more workhorsemen.
I also noticed that they changed Cheeseburger's name back to Cheeseburger instead of world famous CB.
Shocking that didn't click.
And then also Willow Nightingale defeated Allison Kay in 7 minutes and 50 seconds. But yeah, I would say a pretty good show overall. I don't think it was as good as the last one, as the Supercard of Honor. But that definitely had
the problem with Supercard of Honor. I can only remember one match.
That's true. I also remember
this might have been a better top to bottom card for me.
I remember Brian Cage versus Ninja Mac and really loving that. I also remember Swerve versus Alex Zane, and I thought that was a great match. I think also the problem is that I thought Alex Zane and Swerve are a 4-star match, but it's like I've seen so many 4-star matches like every week, so it's just kind of like, all right.
Yeah, we're printing out 4-star matches nowadays. Like wrestling is back. Yeah. So it's like, how much can I remember? I think Tony Khan's shooting 100% for pay-per-views this year. I think that's most important. Like every pay-per-view that he's done has at least been good, which that's all I asked for.
I agree. Speaking about good pay-per-views, SummerSlam is happening this Saturday for the WWE brand. This is a Vince McMahon booked card with some.
There'll be a Triple H Rand show, though.
Triple H Rand show. So how it all works is going to be fascinating to see how it plays out. This obviously is recorded before SmackDown, so there may be more matches added.
I don't think it's a bad show. Also, Edge isn't on it, by the way.
It's not a bad show, but it's very similar to Money in the Bank, so it's that. But also, that might mean that this show's better. Maybe. I don't know.
It probably will be better.
Yeah, but at the time right now, we have 9 matches. I could easily see them adding 1 or 2 more. Especially if they do like a pre-show match. But we got everyone's favorite match. You know, you're excited for it. Pat McAfee is wrestling this time.
I am excited for it, actually.
Against Happy Corbin. So why are you excited about this match?
Because Pat McAfee's the best babyface in WWE. That's why. Come on now. He's a star, baby. There's actually a lot of cool history here. So Pat McAfee and Corbin, when they were in the NFL.
Happy Corbin.
Sorry, I just said Corbin. I didn't say any other thing. I'm just going to call him Corbin. When they were in the NFL together, they actually were roommates on the Indianapolis Colts. And when I think when Corbin was still trying to like make it in the NFL, McAfee let him live at his house after the fact when, you know, McAfee became successful. So they're actually friends. So it's cool to see them have a match. Obviously, I'm not the biggest Corbin fan, but I think much like McAfee versus Austin Theory, this is going to work because the crowd's going to love Pat McAfee because that is just how good he is. And like I said earlier this year, like when he signed that multi-year contract, I was like, that is the most important signing that they've made in forever. Like losing him would suck. I like him as this big match attraction. He hasn't had a bad match. I don't count the Vince one, so get out of here. I don't count that. That wasn't a match. That was just a joke.
Yeah.
Right? Like actual matches, he hasn't had a bad match. He cares. He enjoys it. So I'm looking forward to it. He should win. He should win because I don't care enough about Happy Corbin for Corbin to win. So there you go.
Yeah, the match should be fine, and I'm very excited about Pat McAfee coming out to the White Stripes. That's all I'm excited about.
Yes, that's the best part. That's the best part. It's
I-
the energy going.
Yeah, I can't wait to start the show with White Stripes. That's how we're gonna do it, baby.
Yes.
Another singles match that I know you're excited about: The Miz versus Logan Paul. This has been months in the making. The newly minted, signed Logan Paul is here. He's in a video game. He has probably trading cards on the way.
As is Machine Gun Kelly, to be fair.
Oh, yes. Wait, Machine Gun Kelly in the game as well? Oh my god.
Yeah, because he did the soundtrack, so they put him a character too. And I just want to point this out. This has nothing to do with anything now. But like, you remember when they used to have like Machine Gun Kelly on their shows and like sing when he wasn't popular? And now like they have him in their pocket clearly and they don't put him on a show. I find it very funny. Like they're like, now that you're popular, we don't want you.
Look, Triple H loves, you know how he loves musicians like Poppy, so you know for a fact that Machine Gun Kelly and people are performing.
I would absolutely pop if he had Poppy sing at SummerSlam. Be like, now I know this is the Triple H regime, baby. This match should be whatever. Logan Paul and Pat McAfee are two of the best celebrity wrestlers that I've seen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it won't be bad. It'll probably be bad.
Yeah.
Logan Paul's gonna win. That's about all I got for you.
Logan Paul's gonna win. He's gonna wrestle well. I don't like the guy.
He's gonna have cool gear again.
He's gonna have cool gear. Him versus The Miz is not the most exciting matchup I think you could make with Logan Paul, but it is what it is. Just have him beat The Miz. We'll move on to Logan Paul.
Should have just did him and Ciampa.
Yeah,
I actually probably would have slapped.
Well, Triple H is making the show run, so why not?
Well, no, because then Ciampa has to win.
No, you can have Logan Paul. Well, no, because then Logan Paul beats
This is the
Ciampa.
Triple H regime.
I would say Logan Paul beats. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, you're right. Another singles match: Seth Rollins versus Riddle. This one gets added as well.
Probably should be the match of the night if I had a comfort. If I was to guess, either this or the women's title match, not the Smackdown one, the Raw one. And I only say that because I watched the Raw one at WrestleMania this year.
Mm-hmm.
They did pretty well, to say the least. So, yeah, I mean, Rollins versus Riddle, it's a good spot for both of them because obviously they don't have a spot for Rollins. They did tease the Rollins Reigns thing again on Raw last night, which is great because I think it's a story you should go back to. But good spot for Riddle, good spot for Rollins. I'm sure they'll have a great match.
Yeah, I'm sure this match will also be good. Riddle has been secretly pretty good this year. Rollins has also been really great. Granted, it's a lot of those matches have been Cody Rhodes, but still been very good this year as well.
5-star Cody, baby.
Tag team no DQ match: the Mysterios, Rey and Dominic Mysterio versus Damian Priest and Finn Balor.
You know, this match would be really good if Dominic Mysterio was like anyone else.
I'll take a I'll take Aaliyah. The daughter.
I was hoping they added Aaliyah, added Rhea Ripley to the match. I'd be like, this is crazy. Let's go crazy.
Yeah. Because I'm ready to go.
Yeah. My ultimate hope is that Dominic gets attacked before the match, and Edge is Rey Mysterio's tag team partner.
That's possible. Oh yeah, I guess that could totally happen. Edge return at SummerSlam. Edge return at SummerSlam.
Match, though.
Yeah. That I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. Actually, if they take out Dominic, maybe that happens on SmackDown or something. They take out Dominic, replace him with Edge. Dominic. So you got the return of Edge and Rey Mysterio as a tag team. Edge getting redemption against. That could work. I like that idea. Actually, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
WWE SmackDown Women's Title match: Liv Morgan versus Ronda Rousey. What now? In a Vince world, Ronda's winning. Triple H world,
Ronda's winning. The only shot Liv Morgan had here if it was a Paul Heyman world, and it's not a Paul Heyman world yet. Though I did see Wade Keller hinted that Paul Heyman has a good relationship with both Stephanie and Triple H, and he could be leaned on, which I think is good for the most part. This is the start of the Ronda Rousey heel run.
Yeah, her winning would be a good way to turn her as well, because she's going to get
snap
booed.
the arm. Ronda Rousey's a very good heel.
Mm-hmm.
She is not a good babyface at all. So I'm actually happy she's turning. Sorry for Liv Morgan. I don't think Liv Morgan now that it's a Triple H regime once again. I don't think Liv Morgan gets shot down the card or anything. And I don't think she was going to either because her merch sales are high. I remember that report a while back. Like everything about her is really high. It's just no offense to Liv. This was always to get Ronda to a heel spot, I feel.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. It's a shame, but I guess it is what it is, I guess.
Maybe it has fans, kind of back her even more. I think that's possible.
I think that maybe that's the idea. Raw Women's title match, Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch.
This should be excellent.
Mm-hmm.
These two have great chemistry. I watched them have one of the best WrestleMania women's matches of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Literally a few months ago. I think this is also the start of Becky going back to babyface. She loses here, and then you start that turn. Because listen, it's all about Becky versus Ronda at the end of the day. That's where we're going. That's the big match. I think Becky loses here. Maybe she goes off TV for a while. Maybe she starts to, she just needs to get back to being a babyface because that is Becky's best role. She's been miscast for too long. With that being said, I firmly believe it won't affect the match. This could be the match of the night.
Raw and SmackDown tag team title match with special guest referee Jeff Jarrett.
JEFF JARRET. That is the busiest man of SummerSlam weekend right there.
This will be the day before he wrestles Ric Flair in his retirement match. The Usos versus the Street Profits again.
I think this will be better. Montez Ford is huge.
He's huge. He's gotten big. He's
in
gotten
a good
real
way.
big.
Not like a bad thing.
No, he's he's swollen up.
I saw him next to Roman last night on Raw.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, holy shit, this guy is massive. I was like, give him the world title already. Like clearly that's what he's getting himself ready for. And I respect that. Anyone that commits themselves because he knows how good he is.
Yeah.
I respect that totally because he is a star. No offense to Angelo. I think Angelo's solid, but he ain't Montez Ford. They're not winning, by the way.
Yeah. I think it's either Street Profits are winning, or
I hope I get what I want.
Yeah, or the Street Profits are losing, and I think this is where the Ford Dawkins turn split.
You didn't even ask me what I want.
Where do you want, Scotty?
I want Double J to join the Bloodline.
You want Double J to join the Bloodline and find a way to pin the Usos for the titles?
Yeah, he's gonna work. He's gonna work against himself. He's gonna work against Ric Flair this way. It'll be like, listen, you gotta beat that old man tomorrow. Look, no, I think this is.
Hey,
this is gonna be a great match.
Hey, Double J, you're the special referee. This is the decision. We're gonna have the Street Profits pin the Usos. That ain't working for me, brother. All right, we'll do the Usos pin the Street Profits. That ain't working for me, brother. What do you mean? I want the belts. You're the ref. You can't be. You can't have the belts. I want them. I need them.
I was the ref.
I was the ref. Put me in. He rips off the shirt. And he's got a singlet on. He never wore a singlet. Did he ever wear a singlet? Yeah.
I don't think so. I guess the good part about this is like I've said multiple times, this should be a really good match. So like that alone, like card wise, there's a lot of good matches on this show, like wrestling terms. So that's the one benefit of this card.
Yeah. Next up is the U.S. title match, Bobby Lashley versus Theory again. I don't think there's much more to say. It's interesting that Vince wrote Theory to be sort of demoralized, I guess, on Monday Night Raw. Before this match,
Roman Reigns went a little different.
Yeah, so I don't know, but I don't think Theory's gonna win, so I don't think it really matters. But yes.
No, Bob should win.
Bob should win.
Bob's very over.
What happened to John Cena? Wasn't John Cena going to have a match against Austin Theory at SummerSlam? What happened to that?
I don't know if you remember this, but there's a certain a lot of happening with WWE, and I'm sure John Cena doesn't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole right now. So
John Cena's too busy getting scanned in to be in Fortnite. That's what he's too.
Did he get married again or something?
He did get married.
Did he get married a second time? To the same person?
No, I don't think so. I think he got engaged. I think that's what you're confusing with.
Yeah, I know. But good for him. Happy for John Boy.
WB title and Universal title and last man standing match, Roman Reigns versus Goldberg. Oh, sorry. No, it is in fact Brock Lesnar will be facing Roman Reigns for that title. It is confirmed unless something happens day of. Scotty, what do you think?
I'm going to be bold here, Ryan.
All right.
I think this is going to be their best match since that first WrestleMania match.
Since their first, how was that?
Since
5
WrestleMania
years?
31.
5
WrestleMania
years
31.
ago?
No, forever ago. WrestleMania 31 when Roman had won the Rumble, Seth cashed in. I think this will be their best match since, which isn't really tough company. It's not asking for a lot, but last man standing.
Well, here's my thought of this: is that
SummerSlam's TV 14.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of vicious ways to go here.
There's gonna be blood, 100%.
It's the last time ever, supposedly.
Do you see Triple H putting the title on Brock or keeping it on Roman?
Keeping it on Roman.
I agree. I think
they have the Drew match teed up.
Yeah, and that has more build.
By the way, I'm hoping that stupid match they have between McIntyre and Sheamus, I think it's like a Shillelagh match or something, on SmackDown. I would like if they just moved those two to SummerSlam because they would probably have the best match of the night. So.
Yeah. I mean, if it's gonna be a Shillelagh match, then a special guest referee for that match
does
fit Finlay.
Austin Theory cash in?
Ooh, good point. This is a good idea. He's been
saying it on TV for a month now.
He was demoralized on Raw as well against Roman, so maybe he wants to do something like that. There's also the Brock at Madison Square Garden. He lost in 40 seconds. I could see it. I don't know if Triple H would want to put the world title on Austin Theory. Does if Austin Theory cashes in, does he only gets one title belt, right?
I don't know. If it's one title belt, I could see him be successful, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm unsure.
Because the question at hand, right, for these titles, the undisputed, is that when you go to the WWE roster page, Roman Reigns is there twice, so they are keeping the titles separate. They didn't combine them.
Yeah.
Or they just want to show us Roman Reigns twice. That's very possible too. But that for me, I think is why I'm confident that he would cash in for one, which I think would be okay.
Yeah. But even then, it's do you want to have Austin Theory hold the WWE title or the Universal title at this point?
Really don't. I don't think he's ready.
I don't think he's ready
at all. I think he will be probably someday, but he's not ready. Also, maybe they'll add Walter versus Shinsuke to the show. So
that could be fun. Oh yeah, because SmackDown's coming up, so that could probably happen. I could see that happening. Yeah. But that is so far what we got for SummerSlam, and that is obviously happening this Saturday. Don't have a lot of
absolute marathon.
Yeah, there's a lot happening this weekend. More G1 Climax. We're not going to talk about it today. Music City Mayhem is also happening, but also real quickly, and I know Scotty has covered this before in the past, but let's just talk about it here as well. 5-star for Stardom is happening. It's their sort of G1-esque tournament is happening starting this Saturday as well, and it will be going on for the rest of forever, basically.
Until October 1st.
Yeah, it's what is that? 3 months of Stardom. So, and they got plenty of stuff in between. A lot of stuff's going to happen. So, We got 2 big blocks here, red and blue. Obviously, also some additional changes, so you can also get those thoughts as well.
Oh
with
yeah,
some of the block
this
changes.
is gonna be my first time thoughts on it. So you actually got something fresh.
Yeah, baby, Ring Post Radio gets the fresh takes.
Usually you do, because usually we talk about their pay-per-views before I talk about them anywhere else too.
That's
So.
true. Well, let's talk about the
But-
newsworthy block in a way, which is the Red Star block. It has Shuri, Tam Nakano, Utami Hayashishida, Azumi, Kagama, Maika, Himeka. No longer Tekla. It has now been officially replaced by Momo Kogo due to Tekla still being injured. But also
sad.
on Red Stars, you got Unagi Sayaka, Saka Kashima, Mai Sakurai, Risha Sera, and Saki. Scotty, thoughts on that block, including the Momo Kogo Tekla change?
It sucks that Tekla's not in it. I thought Tekla was going to have a great tournament. Truthfully, I thought she had a potential to be one of the real underrated parts of it. I thought she had a lot of unique first-time matchups set.
Yep.
So it sucks. Obviously, I don't know what her injury is. She's been out forever. It feels like she's been out forever.
Yeah.
I very much miss seeing her wrestle. So hope she gets well as soon as possible. Again, it sucks that she has to miss the tournament. This was a big opportunity for her, but we look to the present and what's next. Momo Kogo, I've talked to people. I thought she should have probably been in the tournament anyways, over certain other people, and that's not a shot at Mai Sakurai, who I think has improved, and actually will benefit from this as well. But Momo Kogo is going to learn a lot. And Momo Kogo is someone that they clearly believe in.
Yep.
She has become Mayu Iwatani's tag partner. So there's no mistake there. There's a lot of similarities between those two in terms of their makeup and a lot other things. So like her getting matches with Shuri and Tam and Utami and Maika and Himeka and Risa Sera and Saki, like this is a really great opportunity for her, and Azumi, and she's gonna wrestle the best of the best, and she's gonna have to sink or swim, and I think for the most part she'll swim. She's not gonna light the tournament on fire or anything, but she's gonna be solid. She's gonna learn a lot, and she should probably come out of it better than she is going into it. I think she's been improving a lot lately, so should be good.
Totally. I think Momo Kogo in there. I think she showed a lot in her high speed title match against Azumi. I think we have another Azumi match there with Momo Kogo there. Her against Shuri, Tam, Utami. There's some really good spots with her. A lot of people she's already wrestled as well in singles matches, I believe. So yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting. Risa Sera is another outsider person that I don't think she would have wrestled otherwise. So yeah, interesting stuff for her, and I'm excited to see.
It sucks for Tekla.
It sucks, and you know how much of a stan of a Tekla stan I am.
I know.
It's Dr. Seuss all of a sudden.
She's your favorite, so like
yeah.
It just sucks. It sucks that she can't be around.
Yeah, but it's still a good block.
Way too long.
Still a good block otherwise.
Yeah.
Shuri Utami Hayashishia is going to be a match. That's number 3, baby.
That's day 2 on it's on Sunday.
Yes.
Main event of Sunday's show, for those who may be wondering. We'll kind of go over those 2 cards real quick in a second.
Yeah, so that should be real good. And then we got the Blue Stars block, which is Mayu Iwatani, Julia, Sayaka Mitani, Starlight Kid, Momo Watanabe, Azuki, Saida, Natsupoi, Mina Shirakawa, Hanan, Mirai, Ami Sarai, and Suzu Suzuki. Obvious matches that excite me: Suzu Suzuki and Julia Mayu Iwatani, Sayaka Mitani, Starlight Kid, other stuff. It was Saida versus everybody. I'm excited about a lot. This block, I really enjoy the block. I kind of like B block a little bit more, but both blocks are really good.
Better.
Both blocks are still really good though.
Yeah, Blue Stars block is the block that there is a phenomenal match every single day. They have a match, so like it's just the strongest.
In a weird way, I'm excited for Natsupoi versus Mina Shirakawa. In a weird way,
and that's like one of the weak matches.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a story there, obviously, now that they're both the Cosmic Angels. This is the Julia block. If Julia doesn't win, everyone will be stunned, bamboozled, shocked. Like when I previewed the tournament written version, I I pretty much wrote like 5 paragraphs about Julia and why she has to win.
Yeah.
Because I did favorites, and like finding another favorite for this tournament is very difficult. So I went with Utami, because she's kind of in that spot where her getting heated up would make sense. But
yeah,
this is Julia's to win. It's her time. There's so many phenomenal matches to come in this block alone. It's going to be special. It starts this weekend. But yeah, Julia is my pick. Julia should be everyone's pick to win. It's more so who does she face on that final day, because Stardom often keeps they don't give away the biggest match, and they've protected Julia versus Utami forever.
Yeah,
that is their biggest match. That is bigger than Utami versus Kairi. The only match that is bigger than that one is Utami versus Io Shirai, and that's not happening anytime soon. So
Triple H.
Yeah. Triple H ruined a lot. God damn! By making WWE better, he ruined a lot. You jerk.
There's a chance. There's a chance Io Shirai doesn't leave now.
There's a very good chance. There's a chance Io Shirai is champion on the main roster by the end of the year, buddy. But yeah, I think it's like it's down to the likes of a Micah or Jamaica or Risa Sarah, like someone like that in the Red Stars block to get through, unless Julia for some reason not winning.
Yeah.
Then you look at the Hazukis and you look at the who the hell is in this block? Give me one second.
I don't know.
Starlight Kid.
I was gonna say
Watson, like that type.
But
level.
I feel like if it's not Julia, then someone in the Red Stars block is winning.
Yeah, no, I mean to like represent the block.
Yes.
Against Utami, who might be winning.
Yes, because Starlight Kid would be. I would love to have Starlight Kid win this. I don't think she would, but that'd be She's probably a year away, I think. Yeah, Momo, maybe. I think she'll just get a lot of points.
Momo won't win. She would be an option to lose.
Sai Kamatani,
but I don't think they would do that 2 years in a row.
Sai Kamatani, I don't think she would, just because of her title. And yeah, I don't know. See, Mayu, maybe. Suzu Suzuki, maybe. I don't think so though.
Suzu Suzuki, I think she'll be in contention.
Yeah.
They could shock us all and have her win, but I think like I've talked to people about it. Risa Sarah might have a better chance at winning than her, believe it or not.
There's also Mirai,
because Suzu's playing spoiler if Julia's not winning this tournament. Mirai should not win.
Yeah, Mirai,
I like Mirai, but she should not win.
Yeah, but I just mean that I think she's sort of a dark horse. Mirai is sort of a dark horse in the background.
Yeah, if you're looking for someone to represent Blue Stars block that isn't winning, and the Red Stars is, I think Hazuki's probably the option I see most probable, because she's kind of in that role. She's going to give you a great finals match. She's she's not going to win, but she's on that borderline like main event level. And I think obviously anyone that's in the finals does benefit, so it'd be a good spot for her. But I think Julie's winning, so this is all just for fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm truly disappointed because I missed out on my dream 5-star final of Tekla versus Saida. And them's the break sometimes. Sometimes you just don't get what you want. And, for me, it's just I'm not getting Tekla versus Saida for the 5-star.
If it helps, they weren't in the same block, so.
Well, no, I know.
At least it wasn't taken away from you from injury.
I'm saying that that should have been the finals. Tekla versus Saida. Why not? Let's do it, baby.
I think everyone that I
Gorilla versus
host the show with, or
Gorilla versus
with,
Spider,
absolutely love Saida. It's incredible.
Have you seen her back? It's awesome. All right, let's.
I'll go over the Saturday and Sunday cards, and I'll let Ryan react because it's more fun if he reacts. And I also like exciting the world with the way I do it. So yeah, Saturday. Here we go. Let's start in the Red Stars block. We got Momo Kogo now versus Mai Sakurai. Obviously a big change there. You know, it's whatever.
Yeah, fine. I'm sure I've seen that match before.
Yeah, Unagi Sayaka versus Saki, a little Cosmic Angels colors match there. They've shown some feistiness towards one another despite being in the same group now.
I've not yet seen.
We don't talk about Cosmic Rules.
Yeah, right. Well,
did you see my Voices Wrestling review?
No, not yet. I haven't watched the show yet. I haven't watched the show yet.
All right. Well, I've had to repeat this to multiple people, but it's fine. I'll just say it to you real quick. This is what I wrote for my Voices of Wrestling Cosmic Rules review. I just need to check something real quick. Sorry. Oh man. Okay, I gotta get that fixed. It says Cosmic Rules meant the use of water was allowed. There were water guns and beach floats. Ooh. Honestly, the less I say, the better. That is it. That was my review of the match. And then I wrote
spicy.
Maybe
I do have to check out this match.
That's the funny thing. Like everyone's like, oh, I don't want to see it. And then they're like, well, I have weird interest now. Anyways, Utami Hayashishita versus Himeka, the only 5-star finals rematch in this entire tournament because they faced off in 2020 in the finals. Big match there. First time they're facing off since then. And to say that they're both better wrestlers would be an understatement.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. Micah versus Risa Sarah. Obviously, the DDM prominence feud works into that one. Should be probably excellent.
Micah's losing. Micah's going to lose that one.
Probably. Shuri versus Azumi has a chance to be main eventing this show. Obviously, the main part here is Shuri has lost to Azumi 2 years in a row in the 5-star Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Azumi has a chance to make it a 3-peat and somehow get a world title match out of it. I think this is where it stops probably because Shuri's world champion now, but it's a fun thing to play to on night one.
Yeah. I think there's a chance. I think if you're going to do an upset.
Oh, there's definitely a chance.
I think if you're going to do an upset night one, that's a good upset.
Yeah.
It's just it's weird because it's not really an upset, but it is kind of. So.
Right. And then the Blue Stars block, we get some heavy hitters here. We got Ami Sourei versus Saya Ida. Just a chop fest. They'll have a nice little chop fest.
This is still night one?
Yes.
Okay.
This is Blue Stars night one. We got Mayu Iwatani versus Mirai. Worth noting that Mayu Iwatani has only ever won on the first night one time. And it was her first ever tournament. So Mayu Iwatani is probably losing.
Yep.
It's just the way it goes.
Yep.
Starlight Kid versus Suzu Suzuki, first time ever.
That's a big old circle. That's a boy howdy match circle for me.
Yep. And
lasso. Lasso. It's a boy howdy lasso for me.
And the feud that has been built for a few months now, Julia goes one-on-one with Hazuki to top off the Blue Stars block. So Julia starts off hot with rivalries.
Yeah.
Because the entire block is her rival, to be fair. So that is it.
She hates Hanan. She hates Hanan.
She's probably going to be very mean to her.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Night 2. In the Blue Stars block, we got Ami Sourei versus Suzu Suzuki. An interesting one there. Mina Shirakawa versus Momo Watanabe. They've had good matches in the past, so if anyone's going to bring it out of Mina, it's Momo. A rematch: Saya Kamatani versus Starlight Kid.
Very
off
good.
the bat.
Very good.
Just toss that in. Oh, by the way, night 1. I always forget this. Saya Kamatani and Lady C team up to face the team of Nanai Takahashi and Kairi.
Very good.
Because they said, yes, we will add this to the tournament.
Yeah, baby. We need to sell some more tickets.
Night 2, it gets better. It'll be Kairi and Natsupoi versus Mayu Iwatani and Saya Ida. Because why the hell not?
I like how Kairi is just sort of like
chilling.
Anyone can team with me. I don't care. I don't care what faction.
Yeah, well, Natsupoi she wanted to team with.
Yeah,
and I as a former partner, so it's like
Yes.
Let's do these because the next match after those will probably be Saya versus Kyrie for the strap, which is exciting. So those are cool. I said Kamatani versus Kid. Julia versus Mirai, another rivalry match for Julia because, as I said, most of the block is rivalry matches.
Yep.
And then on the other side, we have a Pro Wrestling Wave Catch the Wave rematch, which that tournament happened this year. We have Risa Sera versus Saki. So the two outsiders going head to head.
Fun.
Kogama versus Momo Kogo. Stars versus Stars now with Tekla out. Tam Nakano versus Hameka. And of course, the selling point, Shuri versus Utami Hayashishita.
Yeah.
In 15 minutes. It will be interesting to see how they do it because they don't do 15 minutes. Well, it's the main event. They're going to want to avoid. They don't do as many draws in the tournament as they do throughout the year. Like this is when it matter. But if there was to be a draw, this would be it. They drew last year in the tournament.
With their history of having super long matches, I would suspect a draw. I don't.
Yeah.
Unless they want to do the story of like, Utami's been out of world title picture for a while and she needs to shape back up, that sort of thing. You know what I mean? She's been out of the picture, so unless they want to do that story, I don't think they would. So I could think that would be a draw probably.
Yeah. Still a big match, obviously. Big weekend.
Oh yeah.
Wrestling is very busy this weekend. And do you want to talk about Ric Flair real quick before we
I was thinking
cut it?
Do we preview that on today or Sunday? I mean, we're super over.
I think just read through the card and then we'll leave.
All right. Well,
I don't know the card, to be fair. I just know it's good. Also, Music City Mayhems this weekend, everybody.
Yep.
We're getting John Moxley versus El Desperado. I can't remember anything.
Yeah, that was the main event. We're also getting Davey Richards versus Rocky Romero for the MLW title, national title.
Right, because Clark Connors is out.
Yes.
Right.
So
let me find. Oh, we're getting Fred Rosser versus Big Damo for the New Japan Strong Belt. I'm just gonna go through these real quick. Sure. That we're here. We're just already here.
Why not?
We got that's a random match. I did not know that was happening.
What match?
They're doing Desperado versus Takahashi versus Blake Christian on they did it this past weekend on a
strong taping.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
We're also getting Hiromu Takahashi versus Blake Christian this weekend.
That should be good.
That could be. We're getting FTR and Alex Zane versus the United Empire. That's pretty cool.
All right.
Because they're building to FTR and the Empire, so that's great. Fred Fred
Yehai.
I always forget how to forget his name.
It's
Shota Umino and Yuya Uemura versus Kevin Knight, Ren Narita, and the DKC.
The joke is that how tall is Fred? He's Yehai.
Got it.
Ba-bum-ba-da.
And the Time Splitters match, Alex Shelley versus Kushida.
Can't wait for that one.
Damn, what a weekend, huh?
And then on Sunday, Jim Crockett Promotions presents the first show they've done since 1988. It's going to be Ric Flair's last match. Here's the card. Ready? Strap in, folks. I think it has a bigger card right now than SummerSlam. Josh Alexander versus Jacob Fatu for the Impact World title. Brian Pillman Jr. and Brock Anderson versus Kerry Morton and Ricky Morton. Nice little Four Horsemen versus Rock and Roll Express. The Briscoes versus the Von Erichs from MLW. 4-way match, Laredo Kid versus Toros versus Ray Phoenix versus Bandito. Woo, baby. That's me smoking a cigar. 4-way match again, Jonathan Gresham, if he's there, Takeshita, Alan Angels, and Nick Wayne. I don't know if that dig was necessary. I love Gresham, but I don't know why he's digging on him.
That match should be great.
That match is fantastic. If that match happens, that match is fantastic.
Back-to-back phenomenal fatal 4-way matches.
Because also presumably that would probably be Gresham's first match since losing the world title, And there's also reports of him not wanting to wrestle anymore, so maybe it's his last match. Maybe it's Jonathan Gresham's and Ric Flair's last match. A bunkhouse battle royal, so basically like a no DQ style battle royal. Bully Ray, Crowbar,
Oh Jesus,
Wolfie D, who? James Storm, Sin Bodie, aka Kizarny. You remember Kizarny. Brian Myers, Big Damo, Ricky Shane Page, Gringo Loco, Crimson, or aka Anthony Mayweather, aka a security guy at a Trump rally. Commander from Lucha.
from the Lucha.
Adam Priest and Cal Hero, who people have pretty much only seen him at Bloodsport, if I'm not mistaken. Apparently he's an OVW now. Good for him.
Interesting.
We also got Impact Knockouts title match: Jordan Grace versus Deonna Purrazzo versus Rachel Ellering. Harry Smith versus Killer Cross with Scarlett Bordeaux. The Motor City Machine Guns: Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin versus the Wolves: Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards. Ren Narita versus Clark Connors, which Clark Connors is probably not on the card anymore, but they have not announced a replacement yet. Not that I know of. So I don't know who that replacement would be. I imagine Clark.
I think it's Yuya.
Is it Yuya? Do we know for certain?
I think I saw someone say it was Yuya.
I don't know. Jim Crockett Promotions, is that a Twitter account that's
he's there.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's a plus. Yuya Uemura.
And then the main event, while you're looking that up, the main event is, of course, Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett with Karen Jarrett versus Andrade El Idolo and Ric Flair. Is Charlotte at all making an appearance? Maybe? I don't know.
Charlotte's going to be there. It's just a matter if she's allowed on screen or not.
Yeah.
Ric Flair confirmed that. So
yeah.
I think it'd be cool if she could just show up. Who gives a shit?
Jeff Jarrett's showing up. Why not?
Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Ready? We've said it all show. It's a new regime.
It's a new regime.
Anything's possible.
That's why not? Just to prove it, Triple H. Just to prove it, talent relations. He's the guy that I think can approve that.
Uemura is replacing
right.
per the Observer.
That should be good.
It'll be Uemura versus Ren Narita.
Yeah.
Woo!
Triple H would be the guy that approves whether or not Charlotte Flair can probably be at that show. So
he probably would have did it. He was probably the one proving it either way.
If anything, Triple H might be on the show. This rate, Triple H might just be there, cheering on Rick.
Imagine.
I wouldn't be surprised. That is it for this week's
Triple H.
That is it for this week's episode of Ring Post Radio. Huge show, massive show. So thank you everybody for listening in. Scotty, give me. You know what? Can I go first for match of the week? Because you've definitely saw way more matches than I have.
Yeah, go ahead.
For match of the week. So I'm just gonna
that Triple H.
I am going to say my match of the week is probably Dynamite last week. Brody King versus Darby Allin. I was there live in attendance, and
sounds like cheating to me.
It was as brutal as you would think live as it was on television. It was just a undoubtedly brutal match. Brody King did a great job of just ragdolling Darby around, and Darby looked dead constantly. Very good match. Very good work. Loved it.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good one. Yeah, I did watch more wrestling than you, by the way.
I know you did.
A lot.
I know you did.
Went on vacation and I didn't.
I went on vacation. Like every promotion had a show I wanted to see. Pretty much.
Yeah, well, this weekend's worse, so you're back for the right time.
That's true.
We're going to go with Shuri versus Tam Nakano from Midsummer Champions 2022 in Nagoya.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is Shuri's best defense yet.
Oh, yeah. We didn't preview that show last week, and we didn't review it here, but no changes basically. I want to go check that one match as well. I'm glad to hear it because it's Tam Nakano. You know me, I'm always slightly concerned about that, but also I shouldn't be concerned because it's Shuri, so Tam's.
She did the thing that I think is better is when she follows someone else's lead and just uses her best qualities to enhance it, like she did with the Saya match.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm excited for that. I also found out that according to my thing, the FTR Briscoes match was the 1500th match I've seen this year, apparently,
Wow.
or of this year of 2022. So, what are you playing? What are you attempting to play over your microphone like into a tin can? It's a new regime, baby. God damn it.
This is how we end the show, baby.
This is it.
Hit me with that Triple H.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to this week's episode of Ring Post Radio. We very much appreciate it. We'll see you all next week, next time on Sunday, actually. Should say it'll be there this Sunday.
To review the Slam. We should have probably just waited to preview Ric Flair next week. Hope that.
That's what I was saying, man.
We didn't really preview it. We just
said the cards. Yeah. We should also have a special, fun little bonus episode maybe at the end of the week. So, subscribe to that. I'm not going to say anything till it actually happens because I'm always nervous about those sort of things. But there should be, plan on it, should have a very good secret special bonus episode at the end of this week. If you heard last week's show, maybe you have an idea of what we're talking about.
We'll be with Triple H.
We interviewing Triple H, baby. So Triple H, thoughts on I don't know.
Thoughts on the new regime.
Thoughts on the new regime. We'll see you all